Zen Cash is trading at $36, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,182. Antiwar.com reports after several days of fighting over the exact wording, the UN Security Council has unanimously backed a ceasefire resolution over the weekend calling for an end to fighting in not just eastern Ghouta, a suburb of the Syrian capital of Damascus, but the rest of the country. Over 500 people, mostly civilians, have been killed in the past week in fighting around the Ghouta area, the last substantial rebel-held territory near the capital, as Syrian and Russian forces pounded the territory to try to force evacuation deals. The deal is to stop fighting and get humanitarian aid into the area without delay, but timing isn't clear, with the Syrian government saying they don't consider it valid against terrorist groups, but promising to work quickly on getting aid into those areas. Turkey has said they don't believe the ceasefire applies to their invasion, though Syria says it does. Aid shipments are difficult to get into combat areas, though a recent UN Red Crescent shipment around Damascus likely will serve as a model for yet more influxes into the besieged areas, where large numbers of civilians remain trapped in what are basically open fire zones. The disputes already about interruption of the language of the ceasefire suggest it's going to be tough going to really get it implemented in a timely fashion, but everyone seems to be satisfied for now, with all having the impression the deal orders everyone to stop fighting but permits their respective offensives. With the ceasefire only covering a 30-day span, that could easily mean that, like some previous efforts, the ceasefire will be largely over by the time there's any agreement on what it actually says, and mostly serves as an excuse for the nations involved to condemn one another for violating the terms as they understand them.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co.
UPI reports the mayor of Oakland, California warned residents over the weekend of a potential raid conducted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. In a news release, Mayor Libby Schaaf said she had information from credible sources about an immigration sweep in the coming days. Schaaf also said she did not know details of any potential ICE sweeps, including locations. Her statement over the weekend comes less than 2 months after ICE Director Thomas Homan promised a 400% increase in workplace immigration raids. In October, Governor Jerry Brown signed into law legislation that makes California a sanctuary state by prohibiting local law enforcement from asking about somebody's immigration status or handing suspects to immigration officials without a warrant. State lawmakers also passed a bill to make it illegal for employers to give immigration officials information about an employee without a warrant.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports a Florida sheriff came under mounting criticism on Sunday for his deputy's response to this month's deadly high school shooting and potential warning signs as dozens of state lawmakers called for his ouster as the governor ordered an independent inquiry. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel insisted that only one of his armed deputies is so far known to have been at fault for staying outside the school while it was under attack rather than entering to confront the gunman who shot 17 people to death. That deputy, Scott Peterson, identified as the school's assigned resource officer, has resigned rather than face suspension and possible dismissal after his actions were caught on video during the shooting, according to the sheriff. News outlets including CNN and NBC have since reported that at least 3 more armed Broward County Sheriff's deputies were present on the scene, taking cover behind their vehicles instead of immediately going into the school. Sheriff Israel sought to dismiss those reports, but did not rule out, however, that the investigation could find other deputies who failed to act properly during or immediately after the shooting, which authorities said lasted between 6 to 7 minutes. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Readers rejoice. This week, Amazon unveiled the Kindle Flare, the latest model of their popular e-reader. The improved device has the ability to loudly and repeatedly announce the title of the book you're reading so everyone knows how smart you are.
Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut.
The hot new e-reader includes a massive catalog of titles, a sleek, easy-to-use interface, and a loud, clear voice that barks the name and author of your book on a loop. Amazon says the repetitive shouting is a small feature that makes a big difference. Readers say that with crystal clear 150 decibel stereo speakers, the Flare provides the most conspicuous reading experience yet. When you're not reading, the Flare automatically switches into bookshelf mode, which conserves power and reads off a list of everything on your Kindle.
Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, a confederacy of dunces.
And Amazon's competition has also stepped up their game as Apple released a new iPad that whispers, "I have an iPad," over and over again.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free and take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is lrn.fm. Here in the studio with you tonight, you've got Ian.
Melanie.
And Darryl.
Welcome to the program. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line where you can call us through Discord, Discord being our chat room system for Free Talk Live listeners and others. Go to discord.lrn.fm to check that out. Kim.com suing the state of New Zealand, the government of New Zealand, for damages. He is promising that he's going to be going after all kinds of corruption and such because they messed with the wrong rich guy, apparently. We'll tell you more about that coming up here in moments. But there's some, I guess, some news, Darryl, that you wanted to get out there that's sort of a more urgent nature.
Yeah, so U.S. Supreme Court, and this story coming from the New York Times from just a little bit ago. I forget if this was the story from half an hour ago or an hour and a half ago. U.S. Supreme Court turned down an unusual request on Monday from the Trump administration to decide whether it is entitled to shut down a program that shields nearly 700,000 young undocumented immigrants from deportation. The move means that the immigrants, often called Dreamers, who are covered under DACA, that's the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, whether they could remain in legal limbo for many months unless Congress acts to make their status permanent. The Supreme Court's decision not to hear the administration's appeal was expected, as no appeals court has yet ruled on the issue. The court's order was brief, gave no reason, and noted no dissents. It said it expected...
So wait, they tried to appeal something to the Supreme Court without having an appeals court look at it first?
Yeah, so this was untimely, and that was the complete, from a legal standpoint, right decision.
How do you do that?
Back in...
You can't.
Back in September, Donald Trump issued an executive order saying, I'm repealing Barack Obama's executive order that implemented DACA, and it goes away in 6 months, so March 5th. Mm-hmm. And then people wound up saying, hey, you can't do this. And then it's sort of been in this weird legal limbo thing. And Trump was like, all right, well, I tell you what, it's not going to go away if Congress passes something to authorize it.
Okay.
And then, somehow and I don't know what the process is of how it wound up before the Supreme Court.
Well, apparently it's not before the Supreme Court. They're not going to hear the case.
Well, everything before they hear or don't hear a case that gets petitioned to them, it goes to them, and then they decide whether to hear the case. So it went to them of, hey, will you review this?
And
right, but there's nothing for the Supreme Court to do here. This is the legal equivalent if I wrote a letter to the Supreme Court and said, my roommate leaves dishes on the counter. Can you review this case? And the Supreme Court's like, no.
Right. I don't understand why.
This is not a case.
I mean, did Trump not talk to an attorney before he filed this with the Supreme Court?
I don't think Trump talks to attorneys before he does anything.
Yeah, I mean, because
that's why all of his, anti-visa things have wound up going to court and been thrown out.
Because I just don't. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but at least I understand that you don't get to go to the Supreme Court until you've exhausted all of your appeals processes.
Yeah,
first,
and if this hasn't been appealed, which is what you're saying, then there's there's nothing for the Supreme Court to do.
Right. They can't act, even if they wanted to act.
Right. So jumping down a little bit in the article, it says 2 federal judges have ordered the administration to maintain major pieces of the program while legal challenges move forward, notably by requiring the administration to continue allowing people to enroll or renew their protected status. The administration had sought stays for those injunctions. So there has been, some limited legal thing, but there's not actually been a full hearing at any court that I'm aware of.
So then there's even less for the Supreme Court to do.
So Trump is trying to kick a bunch of kids out of the country? Is that the idea?
Partially, but he's also... I think really what he wanted was for the Supreme Court to say the stays that the lower court issued are invalid, throw those out.
Well, you have to go to the appeal court for that.
Wow. I mean, just the level of incompetence here is staggering.
Yes.
I mean,
this is like Wikipedia level law knowledge.
Right, like a teenager who's done basic level, research on how the court system works should know more than this.
Right, but we're talking about a guy that after going to France and seeing that they had a military parade, says,
he wanted one too.
I want a military parade and I want mine to be bigger.
It was France that encouraged him to say that? I thought it was North Korea.
No, he went to France. When I first saw the headline, I also thought North Korea. I've got to show Kim Jong-un that I've got a bigger wiener than he does. But no, he went to France on Bastille Day, and they've been having a parade on Bastille Day since the 1800s. I need to have a parade.
It's insane.
Now, it did come out a couple days ago that the parade's going to be on November 11th, which is Veterans Day. Also Armistice Day, so it's going to be the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, which, as antiwar.com pointed out, is somewhat ironic because the point of Armistice Day was an anti-war holiday.
They changed that.
Showing off your military is kind of the opposite.
Well, that kind of works in line with the end of World War I and how it caused World War II.
Basically. That's true.
Yeah. The article here continues. The Supreme Court's move, as a practical matter, temporarily shields the young immigrants who have already signed up for the DACA program from immediate deportation and allows them to keep working legally in the United States. Their status lasts for 2 years and is renewable. The decision
before you go on, I got to say, if I were in their position, I would be thinking about leaving, just because... Why would you want to live in a place where you are a political football? You know what I mean? Like, you could be all of a sudden cut out with a moment's notice by some politician's whim, right? This man with a pen is going to sign some sort of thing that is going to send men with guns after you. Oh, no, the court has ruled you can stay for now, but 2 months from now, you could be kicked out. I mean, who would want to live like that?
Like, where are they going to go? Like,
Uruguay.
Somebody lives in a country because the other countries suck more. It's not like, I'm just going to...
And we're also talking about people that arrived in the country as children. Many of them who have never been outside of the country, which is one of the criteria for qualifying for the DACA protection, is that you had to have been here for a certain period of time. You had to have been here on specific dates. You had to have been here on your 18th birthday. You could not have left the country during certain periods of time.
And you have to have been under 16.
Right.
All right, let's go to your calls, your thoughts. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also coming up, Melanie's going to tell us about a dangerous square root. We'll explain here in moments. Robert is on the line, though, in Bellows Falls, Vermont. You're on Free Talk Live.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I found a story on the news that came out today. I'm hoping it's not fake news, but I don't think so. It says House votes to ban sobriety checkpoints.
Yeah, you're talking about this, the New Hampshire State House, which in a surprising and a fairly overwhelming vote, if I recall correctly.
It was a voice vote, so we don't know how many people wound up yelling no.
It was loud enough to be a voice vote, right? Like, nobody called for a roll call on this. It was clear enough that the people who
the
voted for
only
this
time they
one.
do a roll call or what's called a division is when it's requested and there are a sufficient number of people to second. Otherwise, it is a voice
just
vote.
a voice vote. And so we don't know exactly how many people voted on this, but enough people were able to yell "yay" or whatever to pass this thing.
There were few enough people opposed to it in theory that there just wasn't a desire to have a roll call vote.
I think it's fascinating. So the proposal, and I was actually there when the Criminal Justice Committee heard this particular bill to completely end DUI checkpoints across the state of New Hampshire. I didn't think this was going to go anywhere.
Nor did I. And when I saw the committee recommendation of ought to pass with a vote of 12-8, I was thinking, ooh, this is going to be a tough roll call.
Stand by, Robert. We can continue here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Will it get past the Senate and the governor? Don't know. We'll find out. It's Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy.
DINOVITE.com. Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it.
And the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us right here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Skype username is LRN.FM, something that a lot of libertarians have been talking about, asking for a long time. And there have been some lackluster attempts in the past, has been to create a libertarian business directory. And as I said, the previous attempts just never really caught on. They weren't really that easy to use. They weren't very pretty. Now we've got liberty.menu, and somebody has finally done it right. The guy's name's Patrick, and he's actually a mover here to New Hampshire, moved here with his family last year after traveling around part of the world and deciding to focus in on New Hampshire, which is, of course, the destination for people that love liberty, that want to get together with others. But there are still people outside of New Hampshire, a lot of you, that are liberty-minded folks, whether you describe yourself as a libertarian or a voluntarist or an anarchist, whatever your preference. You want to do business with people like you, obviously. If you get the choice between doing business with somebody who loves liberty or doing business with somebody who is apathetic or doing business with, even worse, somebody who is a total statist, it's an obvious choice. You want to know if there's somebody in your area that is a liberty-minded person offering products and services. Liberty.menu allows you to find that out, or at least it will once people start using it and adding their businesses to it. We've got dozens of them here in New Hampshire. Dozens of entries are already there because they launched this site here in New Hampshire. But it's a worldwide site. Anybody anywhere can add their business to Liberty.menu. Details about it. You can, of course, upgrade. It's free to use, but you can pay for a little bit of an upgrade if you would like and promote your business even further with more pictures and such. So head over to liberty.menu and you can get interactive there. It's not just about businesses, though. It's also about events. So maybe you've got a meetup group or something like that you'd like to promote to other libertarians, or perhaps you've got digital media that you want to promote. There's no limit to the amount of items that you can enter as far as your businesses or whatever, and it's all free to use. So please go to liberty.menu and add your business or more than one of them to liberty.menu. And check it out. If you're just a customer, that's a great way to find out where you can shop with other people who care about freedom. So it's Ian, Melanie, and Darryl in the studio here tonight. Robert is with us in Bellows Falls, Vermont. You're calling about the surprisingly good news coming out of New Hampshire, where DUI checkpoints, at least so far, there's a bill to abolish them completely statewide, and it actually passed the state house. Robert, was this a surprise to you?
It is very surprising to me. One of the other things that's really, there's actually several things here, but one thing I was surprised to see is that in this article, it says 1% of the drivers who are stopped are charged with drunk driving. It goes on to say supporters also said checkpoints can erode relations between police and the public because drivers don't like being stopped, and that because officers get paid overtime, it makes the practice expensive as well.
Exactly, and it doesn't really do anything to stop people from drinking and driving.
Right, and that's part of what Robert pointed out of the very small number of people that actually wind up getting a charge for drunk driving.
Right, if you want to stop drunk driving, you are actually better off just having the police do normal patrols on the roads and keeping their eyes peeled for people who are acting like they're drunk. Whereas what they're doing now, these DUI checkpoints, is they're basically turning everybody into a suspect. They're wholesale stopping everybody that comes through a particular area and essentially conducting an illegal search on people. I mean, it's arguably unconstitutional. Unfortunately, courts have ruled that it is constitutional, and I think that that's a mistake.
And, there's been
another story.
Go ahead, Robert.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was also going to say that this is really kind of interesting, with this being in the attention on the state of New Hampshire, because there's also another story that's coming out as well, where people from New York are coming to New Hampshire, and they're buying thousands and thousands of dollars worth of liquor in cash.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the state of Vermont and New York, they're not paying their fair share of taxes. They're calling it money laundering. It's really fascinating.
It's not money laundering, it's tax evasion.
Right. Well, that's what they're calling it, but those are their words, not mine.
Robert, I want to thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate the heads up on that story, because I think that's pretty big news. It's surprising that New Hampshire's State House, just because normally whatever the police say is incontrovertible. As far
I was
as
surprised by that. They get a lot of money for those.
Well, one
from
thing
the feds, from the federal government.
Right. So they get the money from the feds, but only if they do the checkpoint.
Right.
But one of the things that's actually written in the majority, what's called the blurb of here's the statements of why this should pass.
This is when what the committee wrote when they recommended passing this.
Right. So in addition to the low number of people that wind up getting charged, not convicted, but just charged with a DUI.
Right.
Quote, the testimony revealed this number is lower, that being the 1%, than the amount of arrests police would have made if they were out on patrol looking for people suspected of DWI.
It's true, and 1% is high. I mean, that's taking all of these checkpoints. The last time they did one out here, Melanie, you and we went to one of them out in, Chesterfield, which is just to the west of Keene. It was actually right near the border of Vermont and New Hampshire, on the New Hampshire side. And they had that one night, and then the night prior to that, they had one in the town to the north of that, and they caught 0 DUIs, but they did write some tickets for motor vehicle violations, which means that it was a cash opportunity for the state. So you can find problems with people's cars or whatever, write them some ticket for some piddly crap that really isn't any kind of violation of anybody's rights, and they can just rake in the dough.
The trooper testified checkpoints have gone down in recent years, and the state would still be able to use grants to increase patrols. There was further concern that DWI checkpoints invade a driver's right to be free from unlawful seizures. The majority feels checkpoints can lead to a worsening of public-police relationships, as many people would be upset after being stopped and detained without any evidence of them doing anything wrong. But your statement about courts have upheld them as being legal,
constitutional,
and what they have upheld is as long as there's proof that they're actually doing what they say they do.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that there's a very, very low number of people in New Hampshire that are actually being charged, if someone were to challenge the next time the police say, we want to have a checkpoint, because they do have to wind up getting a court's approval. If someone were to challenge, then they could probably wind up presenting a very good argument of this is not needed.
With logic, yes, courts do weird things about proof.
I tried it, and I actually did challenge a recent DUI checkpoint as a sort of a member of the public, putting in a motion to intervene in that case, and the judge basically kicked it out, saying, oh, well, this has already been ruled constitutional, so have a nice day. So, that didn't... I mean, I'm not an attorney, so maybe Melanie would have been able to write up a better
I would expect that to fail no matter what at the... It's not a trial court, but at the lower level.
District.
Because they're not, a lower level, a district court is not going to want to rule something unconstitutional kind of almost ever.
Generally, that's true. But I figured it would be interesting to see what they would say, and so I did put that in there. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. We can continue here in moments. Your calls, your thoughts, certainly welcome. Do you think this is a bad thing to get rid of DUI checkpoints? You think that's going to increase drunk driving? It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
1 out of 4 people listening to my voice right now could die from heart disease. This could be your last year, and you don't even know it because you don't know the early warning signs. If you think you're safe because your cholesterol levels are normal, think again, because studies show that 75% of heart attack patients also had normal cholesterol levels. Let me introduce you to Strauss Heart Drops, a world-famous heart and brain formula made in Canada. It's time-tested and will give you clinical results in 90 days or your money back. Learn more at scienceofheartdisease.com. They are shipping free this month.
This week, the Forest Service rolled out a brand new Smokey the Bear campaign in which the popular mascot burns to death. They say they hope the shocking turn will get people serious about preventing forest fires for once. The new campaign depicts Smokey the Bear noticing a family leave a flame unattended. Before he can put it out, the entire forest is consumed and Smokey dies in agony while trying to fight the blaze. Despite educating the public for over 70 years, the Forest Service says wildfires have only gotten worse and it was time to take their warnings to the next level. The new ads aim to show that if Smokey the Bear can be killed by the very type of fire he works so tirelessly to prevent, it could happen to anyone at any time. So what's next for the long-running campaign? Well, now that their primary spokesperson is out of the picture, the Ad Council says the PSAs will shift focus to a new character named Little Brian. He's the boy whose family caused the fire in the first place, and he's grappling with crippling guilt over Smokey's death.
This is the Onion News Network.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free. Join us on the radio here and take control of the airwaves. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Plus, you can call in our on-air call-in line on our Discord. The Discord chat is available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Darryl.
All right, so we actually had a call from Robert in Vermont who pointed out the good news here in New Hampshire that the State House has voted to get rid of DUI checkpoints. And I don't know if that has happened in any other place, but it seems to me like I didn't think it could even happen here, at least not at this point, just because we still need thousands more libertarians moving to New Hampshire. This New Hampshire freedom migration is still ongoing. It's still in the very early incipient stages where we've only had a couple thousand people move here, and we need like 10,000 more, probably at least, in order to really start to make a more serious impact. But the fact is, the New Hampshire political system is an unbelievably accessible system. It is easy for people who want to get involved in it to get involved. Now, Darryl, you do Liberty Lobby.
Yes.
And you go there professionally as a paid lobbyist, a crowd-funded, crowd-sourced lobbyist at libertylobby.info is where folks can go and they can read blog posts and they can find out how to donate to your efforts.
Yes.
You do that, and that's excellent, but the average person can also get involved in this in a variety of different ways. Every single bill that the New Hampshire State House looks at it has to have a public hearing. Now, apparently that doesn't happen in other states. Apparently, in other states, the politicians decide which bills get public hearings on whatever arbitrary political reasons they
Right, and then a chair of some committee in most other states will determine whether or not the committee actually winds up coming up with a recommendation on the bill. The Speaker of the House or the President of the Senate in most other places decide which bills actually go to the floor. But here, every bill has that public hearing. The committee must come up with a recommendation. Now, the recommendation could be pass, and I'm giving just like the general terms here.
Ought to pass, as they call it here.
Ought to pass. Inexpedient to legislate, which is kill. So pass or kill.
Yep.
Or they can come up with...
They can table it. Right?
Well, the committee cannot recommend table. The committee can recommend retain, meaning we need to look at this further. They can make that recommendation during the first year of the biennium. During the second year, they can recommend refer to interim study, which is basically let's create a committee to look at this.
So in this case, the committee voted ought to pass this bill to abolish DUI checkpoints entirely.
Yes.
And what was interesting, and again, if you want to see
12 to 8.
Yeah, and if you want to see the full hearing about this, I did record the whole hearing in front of the Criminal Justice Committee. You can go to the Free Keen YouTube channel, and you can see that there. I forget which week it was, but I'm sure if you search for DUI checkpoint or something like that.
Give me 1 second, and I can tell you because I've got the docket fairly readily available to me.
Search for like DUI checkpoint, Liberty Lobby, because I usually label the videos Liberty Lobby, and it'll come up. And, of course, the
public hearing was January 18th, the executive session January 30th.
So the police, of course, want to keep the DUI checkpoints going because it's big money for them. They get big money from the federal government. They get overtime pay.
Not necessarily, because the committee report here says that a trooper testified that the checkpoints have gone down, but they can still use the grants to increase patrols.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true.
So some of the police are kind of split to where, you've got some that are, it's good for us.
I think
they'd rather drive around and just not deal with us.
I think that was in response to a question, though. That police officer's statement that was being referenced that you're talking about was in response to one of the state reps asking him, well, could you blah, 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 use this?
Okay.
I think you'd have to review that anyway. But the cops did come out and they wanted to keep this thing going because, it's pretty sweet for them. They just get to stand around on the side of the road, drink coffee all night and, get paid for shaking people down and searching people's cars and arresting people for marijuana possession and whatever else.
And to answer your question of are DUI checkpoints prohibited in other states, I found a chart here from findlaw.com where they show that in Alaska they are not allowed.
Really?
Apparently there has never been anything to authorize them in Alaska.
Right on.
Scrolling down, and they've got the states in alphabetical order showing either yes or no. Idaho, no.
Wow.
Case law is State v. Henderson from 1988. Scrolling down, Iowa, Chapter 312 of the Road Tax Fund does not authorize sobriety checkpoints.
Excellent. All right, so we're not in we're
Michigan,
not alone.
Minnesota, both of those through various court cases, it appears. Montana only allows what are referred to as spot checks. New Hampshire, yes, but only by court approval, although, it's sort of that FISA court thing of rubber stamp.
Yeah. All right, good.
And scrolling down, Oregon, illegal under the state constitution.
How about that?
Rhode Island, also illegal under the state constitution.
This thing here says that Texas does not allow them, but I know that Texas has some kind of weird thing that acts as a DUI checkpoint that's technically not called a DUI checkpoint.
Right, yeah. We're not calling it that, but we're sniffing your breath while you're talking to us.
Yeah. Washington and Wisconsin.
Isn't Texas where they have the papers checkpoints? Like the papers, please?
The feds have those, but the state and local police, they do these things called no refusal weekends.
What's that?
To where they just stop every car.
Yeah.
And if you either refuse to blow in the breathalyzer or perform the roadside Olympics, you wound up getting taken to jail.
Oh, wow. So if you want to share your thoughts with us, you're welcome to join us. If you think that this is bad news, if you think that we need to have more checkpoints, then we want to hear from you. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. A checkpoint is the antithesis of freedom. And in fact, one of the things that I brought up in my testimony was that the state of New Hampshire is actually currently being sued by the ACLU regarding the border checkpoints that they had within the state.
Oh, yeah, the ones where they wound up finding people with drugs, but no, what was it, like the 2 undocumented people, or I say undocumented, I believe they actually had documents that were expired. They were from, like, Honduras?
Yeah, I don't remember that part about it, but that sounds like it's plausible. I know that one of the times they did these checkpoints was during the Hemp Fest, during the Cannabis Freedom Festival, which was right up the road.
Yeah.
Awfully coincidental timing in that particular case, where they basically are choking off the one main road that everybody coming out of the Cannabis Freedom Festival would come down in order to go back home to the rest of the state of New Hampshire.
Correct.
Unless they happened to go up and around through Vermont, they would have then missed it in that case. So at the same time as the ACLU is rightfully suing the hell out of the state of New Hampshire for even participating in these Border Patrol checkpoints, you've also got the State House voting to repeal them. So I think that's great news.
Well, hold on. The DUI checkpoint and the border immigration checkpoint, those are 2 completely different things.
Right.
So what the State House passed last week, and again, it's still working its way, hasn't yet gone to the Senate, but it would not prohibit, unfortunately, the federal government from setting up these immigration checkpoints.
Well, that's what I said was this bill doesn't go far enough, was what I told the committee. I said this needs to be modified. There needs to be an amendment on this bill to prohibit all checkpoints, not just DUI, but the border checkpoints.
Right.
Do not assist the federal government. In fact, let's kick the federal government out of the state of New Hampshire. But, we're not ready. The state reps aren't ready to go that far quite yet. Maybe someday.
Yeah. So pulling up a story from NHPR, they say that in a press release, Border Patrol says 14 people were detained for overstaying their visas. Those people coming from Colombia, Brazil, Ecuador, and Mexico.
All right. So the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, which takes us back around into immigration, where we started the show tonight. I've got an immigration-related story on the way here, and I don't know, did we finish up with the piece earlier?
Basically, and there were also 32 arrests made for a range of infractions.
It's like marijuana possession.
Yeah.
All right, more coming up here in moments. 855-450-FREE, like freedom, it's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free if you want to join us. The number here, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. Skype username is lrn.fm. By the way, you can get your Blink home security system delivered right to your door. It is super easy to set this thing up. I mean, it really just... I don't think it could get easier than this. I've been through the process here at the LRN studios. Great for a small office as well. You get 3 Blink cams for what some of the other guys might charge you for one of their wired cameras. Blink cams are wireless, which is why it's so easy to get it set up. You get yours over at blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. You get the system, you unbox it, you put in the batteries that are included, and then you put those cameras wherever you want them, set them all up with your Wi-Fi-enabled device like a smartphone or a tablet. And then once you get it tweaked and set up to how you want it as far as what hours it's operating and looking for motion, whenever it sees motion, it will send you a clip right to your smart device. You can review that wherever you happen to be. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Back to the question of immigration. There's an interesting piece from the Washington Post that I've had here for a couple of weeks, and since we were talking about immigration, this seems like a good time for it. It's out of Helena, Montana, where Jordan Darryl Roberts said he immediately had reservations, moral ones, after he found out about subpoenas. his state agency in Montana would have to send labor data to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office. And as a legal secretary for the state's Labor Department, Darryl Roberts would have to help process those documents. Information that he said would no doubt be used to track down and deport undocumented workers. So he talked to his wife, and without much debate, they agreed on what he had to do. He quit the following day. It was not an easy decision, Darryl Roberts told the Washington Post. He's got a 4-year-old child, a wife who's working as a substitute librarian while attending graduate school, 2 cats, and about $900 left in his checking account. Quitting would also make him ineligible for unemployment insurance. His coworkers tried to talk him out of it, he said, and some wondered why he had to do it. He wrote on his Twitter, quote, "People have asked why I'm doing this if I have a child. I'm doing this because I have a child. I want to be able to look my child in the eye," he said. Following orders from ICE meant having a hand in breaking families apart, he said, and he refused to follow those orders. Carl Rusnak, regional spokesbureaucrat for ICE, said the agency routinely issues subpoenas to local, state, and federal departments as well as private companies as part of ongoing investigations and declined to comment further. Montana's Labor Department has received 14 subpoenas from the Federal Department of Homeland Security since 2014, and the state agency is legally bound to respond to them, said its spokesbureaucrat. The most recent subpoenas requested UI-5 forms, quarterly wage reports filled out by employers in Montana. Quote, "The department is in communication with Jordan, and it's our understanding his decision to resign is purely based on his personal opposition to the federal administration's rhetoric on immigration," said Troyer in an email to the Post. Quote, "Jordan's involvement in the process of responding to subpoenas was limited to assisting attorneys with processing requests. Under President Trump, DHS operates under guidelines that target not only violent criminals, but also low-level offenders and those without standing deportation orders, regardless of how long they've lived in the United States. Arrests of foreigners living illegally in the U.S. has surged. Between Trump's inauguration and September of this past year, ICE officers made 110,568 arrests, which is a 42% increase over the same period the previous year.
And I saw something last night that I think it's the current director of ICE has vowed a 400% increase in immigration crackdowns.
That's
so
horrifying.
Going around to businesses and demanding,
seeing their files.
Give us your files and make sure that everybody here has all the T's dotted and I's crossed.
Which they do at gunpoint, by the way. They come in with basically a SWAT team. They hold people at gunpoint and they say, look, we need to look through your files, and they will take people right then and there, from what I understand. One recent arrest involved a Polish doctor and green card holder who lived in the country for 40 years. 2 misdemeanor convictions from 1992 subjected him to a possible deportation. Another high-profile case involved a chemistry professor who had moved to the United States more than 30 years ago and who was arrested while getting his daughter ready for school. He'd overstayed his visa twice and violated a judge's 2011 order to leave the country. Darryl Roberts, who has been critical of the scandal overload that he says has come to define the Trump administration, opposes hardline immigration policies that have resulted in so many arrests, and he cringes at images of ICE agents scooping people away from their families. Just absolutely horrifying what they're doing to people, and kudos to this guy for having the courage to actually stand up for his beliefs and quit his job over them.
Yeah.
How many people would do the same thing? Would you?
There's not a lot of people that would do that. Not a lot at all.
Yeah, most people would just justify stuff and keep...
You know, there are even libertarians that will justify having, government jobs. Well, yeah, I know that, I'm doing this thing that I really shouldn't be doing, but reasons.
Well, I mean, the justification that is easiest would be that, well, somebody's going to do it. Even if I quit the job, they're just going to find somebody else to do it. So why bother?
Right.
The job's going to get done.
Well, he's got a family, and so therefore it's okay for him because somebody's going to do it. So might as well be somebody that's kind of friendly, and he's not going to, rough the people up when he's, detaining them and deporting families. He's going to be nice when he does it.
Well, in this case, this is just a paper pusher. So this wasn't an ICE agent who was quitting his job. This was a bureaucrat with the Montana Department of whatever it was. Some, what was it here? The Montana, whatever the heck it was. State's Labor Department. That's what it was. So this is just a bureaucrat with the state of Montana.
Right.
Who received a subpoena saying, we need this information. So the ICE people sent them a subpoena, and this agent, he realized that he was going to be part of it. I mean, it's going to happen anyway, right? But he did not want to have a hand in assisting these bureaucrats with breaking apart families, destroying people's lives. So kudos to him for that. The only way that this could be stopped is if all of the people who were in this chain of command and this bureaucracy had the same level of conscience. Because if everybody had a conscience about not actually screwing over families and destroying the lives of these peaceful immigrants who've just come here to make a better life for themselves, then no one would do this, right? And everybody would quit their job, and then the ICE would be flummoxed.
Yeah, it's kind of the I'm not sure the right term to use here, but sort of the right-wing fantasy thing of, the Constitution protects rights, and it's up to the men and the women that have the jobs to disobey illegal, unlawful, unconstitutional orders. But yet, at the same time, they'll say that, you've got to do what you're told. Well, this guy, he knew that he couldn't just ignore the paperwork, so he quit.
That was his only option.
Right. So, the men and women in the military, they don't have the option to just quit. Well, they could, but then they face prison for going AWOL. So, my question for those, more conservatives that tend to uphold they're just going to disobey unlawful orders is what are their actual options? And that they don't actually disobey unlawful orders. They just do whatever the hell they're told.
Pretty much. Quote, I know what a fragile thing family can be and how fleeting happiness can be, he told the Post. My uniquely dysfunctional childhood made me deeply empathetic. I'm not engineered to believe that someone in a position of authority necessarily has your best interests at heart, unquote. He said that he spent a lot of time finding a family other than the one he was born into. He had lived with friends during some of his high school years because their families were functional, unlike his. His mother was abusive and neglectful and often had a boyfriend take care of him and his brother, and that boyfriend also abused them. After a custody battle when he was in third grade, Darryl Roberts lived with his father. It was an improvement, he said, in a kind of a way that a second-degree burn is less bad than a third-degree burn. He has not talked to his mother in a decade and to his father in at least 2 years. Quote, have you ever been to a doctor and have them go, oh my, I have surprised therapists, he said. I understand what it's like to be kicked in the teeth by life, unquote. Hence, his swift decision to submit his 2 weeks' notice on Wednesday and refuse to take part in what he sees as kicking someone in the teeth. He began a Twitter thread explaining why he resigned, hoping somebody might say that he had done the right thing. Perhaps some would be kind enough to help pay for groceries for a week while he looked for work. What he didn't expect, he said, was a deluge of mostly positive messages from numerous strangers, some as far away as Ireland and Australia. Others suggested possible job prospects. He says, quote, or one user wrote, quote, I don't have a dollar to my name right now, but God, I admire this and support you. Another wrote, I hope someone smart on here hires you. You need a job. Best of luck to you. And, quote, or I want to find some way to keep this going in such a way that maybe more people will do something, he said.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, February 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.69 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,338 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $36, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,182. Antiwar.com reports after several days of fighting over the exact wording, the UN Security Council has unanimously backed a ceasefire resolution over the weekend calling for an end to fighting in not just eastern Ghouta, a suburb of the Syrian capital of Damascus, but the rest of the country. Over 500 people, mostly civilians, have been killed in the past week in fighting around the Ghouta area, the last substantial rebel-held territory near the capital, as Syrian and Russian forces pounded the territory to try to force evacuation deals. The deal is to stop fighting and get humanitarian aid into the area without delay, but timing isn't clear, with the Syrian government saying they don't consider it valid against terrorist groups, but promising to work quickly on getting aid into those areas. Turkey has said they don't believe the ceasefire applies to their invasion, though Syria says it does. Aid shipments are difficult to get into combat areas, though a recent UN Red Crescent shipment around Damascus likely will serve as a model for yet more influxes into the besieged areas, where large numbers of civilians remain trapped in what are basically open fire zones. The disputes already about interruption of the language of the ceasefire suggest it's going to be tough going to really get it implemented in a timely fashion, but everyone seems to be satisfied for now, with all having the impression the deal orders everyone to stop fighting but permits their respective offensives. With the ceasefire only covering a 30-day span, that could easily mean that, like some previous efforts, the ceasefire will be largely over by the time there's any agreement on what it actually says, and mostly serves as an excuse for the nations involved to condemn one another for violating the terms as they understand them.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co.
UPI reports the mayor of Oakland, California, warned residents over the weekend of a potential raid conducted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. In a news release, Mayor Libby Schaaf said she had information from credible sources about an immigration sweep in the coming days. Schaaf also said she did not know details of any potential ICE sweeps, including locations. Her statement over the weekend comes less than 2 months after ICE Director Thomas Homan promised a 400% increase in workplace immigration raids. In October, Governor Jerry Brown signed into law legislation that makes California a sanctuary state by prohibiting local law enforcement from asking about somebody's immigration status or handing suspects to immigration officials without a warrant. State lawmakers also passed a bill to make it illegal for employers to give immigration officials information about an employee without a warrant.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports a Florida sheriff came under mounting criticism on Sunday for his deputies' response to this month's deadly high school shooting and potential warning signs as dozens of state lawmakers called for his ouster as the governor ordered an independent inquiry. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel insisted that only one of his armed deputies is so far known to have been at fault for staying outside the school while it was under attack rather than entering to confront the gunman who shot 17 people to death. That deputy, Scott Peterson, identified as the school's assigned resource officer, has resigned rather than face suspension and possible dismissal after his actions were caught on video during the shooting, according to the sheriff. News outlets including CNN and NBC have since reported that at least 3 more armed Broward County Sheriff's deputies were present on the scene, taking cover behind their vehicles instead of immediately going into the school. Sheriff Israel sought to dismiss those reports, but did not rule out, however, that the investigation could find other deputies who failed to act properly during or immediately after the shooting, which authorities said lasted between 6 to 7 minutes. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Overburdened with material comforts, America's wealthy can expect another disappointing holiday this year. As Brian Scott tells us, the rich will simply be buying too many things to experience the true meaning of Christmas.
All across the country, those at the top of the economic ladder are denied a privilege that the poorest of the poor take for granted. Rather than fall victim to the rampant consumerism that seems to increase each year, the poor find meaningful joy in simple Christmas traditions, like singing carols to keep warm and hugging relatives who have not yet died. At stores like these, the spiritually bereft must scramble for popular holiday toys in a vain attempt to duplicate the Christmastime happiness that the impoverished enjoy.
Poor people are grateful for just a roof over their heads or something to eat. My wife and I are both lawyers, so that's not enough for us. Certainly hope poor people don't take what they don't have for granted.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Darryl.
All right, so still to come here tonight. Of course, you can bring up whatever you want. Also on the way, smuggling into Venezuela. There was an Ask Me Anything apparently on Reddit, Darryl, that you found, and you invited the guy to call in. We don't know if he's actually going to.
Correct.
But you've got his Ask Me Anything, and you're going to highlight some of that for us later on in the show here tonight. While looking at the Washington Post story we read earlier about the bureaucrat in Montana who quit his job over rather than actually assist the federal government in a subpoena and gathering information against people that they might be deporting, there was another headline over that caught my attention. Donald Trump apparently has weighed in on his opinion about what he would do if he were the officer, if he were just Donald Trump.
He would get a draft deferment and never have joined the Broward County Sheriff's Department?
Well, he claims that he would have rushed into the Florida high school during the mass shooting, unlike the officer.
I have a hard time imagining Donald Trump rushing anywhere.
So apparently there's audio of this.
So that they're less vulnerable to attack. This includes allowing well-trained and certified school personnel to carry concealed firearm. At some point, you need volume. Now, I don't know that a school is going to be able to hire 100 security guards that are armed. Plus,
100 security guards. I don't know how many prisons actually have 100 security guards or prison guards at a time on shift.
Yeah.
You know, I got to watch some deputy sheriffs performing this weekend. They weren't exactly Medal of Honor winners. All right? The way they performed was frankly disgusting.
I don't know that I'd say they performed.
Well, they
good
were standing
or bad.
around.
Well, hiding behind a car for 4 to 6 minutes while a 17-year-old shoots people, it's doing something. It's not what they were hired to do.
I mean, in like the physics sense, it's doing
They
something.
were existing. They were existing.
Yeah, that's about it.
Well,
which is technically something.
But like they weren't performing the job poorly. They were just not performing the job at all.
Well, no, I mean, the job, it depends on who you ask, right?
Officer safety.
Right. We had one cop call over the weekend who claimed that they're training their officers to go into these things. But we've also seen cops claim at previous school shootings that officer safety is paramount, and we need to have the officers make sure they're safe before they go in. So I don't know who to believe on that one.
They were listening to what was going on. The one in particular, he was early. Then you had 3 others that probably a similar deal a little bit later, but a similar kind of a thing.
Huh?
You know, I really believe, you don't know until you test it, but I think I really believe I'd run in there even if I didn't have a weapon. And I think most of the people in this room would have done that too.
And he's talking to governors, apparently, according to this story here. That's who he was addressing.
You're really not worth anything without a weapon in that kind of scenario.
You could be a human shield.
But I mean, I will give him credit for pointing out, like, you really don't know what you're going to do until...
Yeah.
Until the moment hits. Yeah, so, sure. Donald Trump thinks he would rush in to a mad shooter situation.
Without a weapon. And do, I don't know what without a weapon, but...
Grab him by the hoo-hoo?
Anyway, I just thought I'd share that. There really isn't much else to say about it. Just one of the funniest headlines that I've seen all day. You buy that? Does anybody actually buy that?
People that think that Trump can't do anything wrong
this
probably
is the same dude who stole a house from an 85-year-old woman instead of just waiting for her to die.
Really?
And buying it from these, yeah.
Was that some sort of real estate deal he was trying
Eminent domain.
Yeah, that was the eminent domain case.
Yeah. I need to buy and build a big giant casino and big buildings because I build things. Local government, what was it? Atlantic City, I think? Atlantic City, give me this land so I can build things and bring you more tax monies.
So if you want to join us here, you can. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Like Freedom. Melanie, you've got a story related to this school shooting.
It's not really related to this school shooting.
No, I thought it had to do with people being afraid of a square root symbol.
It does have to do with people being afraid of a square root symbol. So.
Well, that has to do with the fears of school shootings, right?
But not this particular one.
No, but in general.
It just happened to have happened about the same time.
Sure, but it's all tied in. It's all tied together because the fear is what's out there. The fear is what motivates people to believe that governments, and apparently Donald Trump, are going to save them in situations like this. So what happened?
So 6 days ago in Allen Parish in Louisiana, a kid was doing some math work, which I guess is a thing you're supposed to do at school. Mm-hmm. Apparently, you can still get in trouble for it, which involved drawing a square root sign. And a couple of the other kids, because this was all young boys in a class of the age where they do square roots. I don't know exactly what grade that
Probably
is.
Middle school.
Yeah, so a bunch of, middle school boys got around and said, "Oh, that looks like a gun." One of the boys threatened someone with the square root sign, according to the school.
I don't even understand how that would happen. Did he pick up the piece of paper and shake it at someone?
There was the story several years ago about one of the kids that he grabbed the little cardboard cutouts of the letters and he grabbed the letter L and was playing cops and robbers with the letter L and wound up getting suspended for violating the weapons policy at school.
Ridiculous.
Zero tolerance.
Yep.
Which means zero common sense.
That's right.
Yeah, so he apparently didn't do anything physically because he made a verbal threat which involved threatening someone with the square root symbol. So not even the actual renowned square root symbol. He apparently, according to the government, threatened someone with the conceptual symbol of the square root sign. So then the police were called by the teachers because that's how smart teachers are. They can't tell the difference between an actual gun and a square root sign written down on a piece of paper.
So here's something interesting. I found an article from another news source where it says another student made a comment on the likeness of the sign to a gun, and authorities then say the student being investigated made a comment that could be interpreted as a threat when taken out of context, but they don't say what the actual comment was. And then
he made a comment about the square root symbol. It either can be interpreted as a threat or it's a comment about the square root symbol.
And
those are mutually exclusive.
The sheriff's office says the student used extremely poor judgment in making the comment. What was the comment?
What was the? If you're going to say he made poor judgment in the comment, tell us what the actual comment was.
It's crazy. I mean, look, I'm
so
glad
then they searched the kid's home.
What?
Yeah.
Where did this happen?
Allen
Louisiana?
Parish, Louisiana.
What part of the state is that?
They must have.
It's not the southern part.
They must have had consent, right? I mean, because that's not. I mean, how could they possibly get any kind of legal warrant to search off of?
Well, a legal warrant and a warrant is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they have the CPS deal where they.
Plus, all you do is call up the judge. Judge, this kid made terroristic threats.
Yeah, they labeled it as
We need to go investigate and search his house to make sure he doesn't have
whatever
guns.
this kid said about the square root symbol was classified as a terroristic threat.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. I mean, I'm glad that students they still have their imaginations, I guess. That's one of the nice sides. I'm trying to look on the bright side here, that somebody could possibly look at a square root symbol and think that looks like a gun. So good for them for having imagination. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I went to school.
Yeah, it doesn't look anything like a gun.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, it's quite a stretch.
Okay, but if you're like a 10-year-old boy, a stick looks like a gun. Like, it doesn't matter. But if you work with 10-year-old boys, you should know that and be like, maybe this square root sign that's written on this piece of paper is not, in fact, a pistol.
It's just, once again, zero tolerance gone absolutely. I mean, zero tolerance has always been insane, and just the longer it exists, the more insane the examples of it become. Does it say anything about what happened after the search?
Then they left because they realized they were stupid.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Get your kids out of these government schools. They are very dangerous places if you don't want your kids taken away to some sort of government prison.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free by joining us here at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well. And the Skype username is lrn.fm, so feel free to join us that way, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us here. Also, you can call us on the Discord on-air call-in line. You can join our Discord and talk to other Free Talk Live listeners and some of the hosts over at discord.lrn.fm. Plus, if you're thinking about cryptocurrencies, you're thinking about which ones to get involved in, there are a whole lot of choices out there, so what do?
Don't buy the Petro.
Well, apparently you can't. We'll get into that. You've got an interesting story about that on the way, Darryl. But you can absolutely get Zencash over and learn more about it over at zencash.com. It is a cryptocurrency that I think is interesting because it was actually founded by voluntarists, by people who care about freedom, by people who love liberty, peace, anonymity, and decentralization. That's what Zencash is about. And they've also got some of the best technology like zero-knowledge anonymity, as well as decentralized autonomous organizations. Take your time, do some research, check out Zencash. We think you're going to like it. You'll find out that they've got over 7,000 secure nodes, which makes Zencash one of the strongest blockchains on the planet right now. Their team members are almost to 50, whereas they started at 5. So there's people from all around the globe that have gotten involved in Zencash. In fact, it is a very international crypto because they've got wallets in multiple languages. So wherever you are, there may very well be a wallet that would suit you if you don't speak English. Check them out over at zencash.com. They've got at least 6 exchanges. I think I heard they hit 7 recently, but go and get all the details over at zencash.com. It's Ian, Melanie, and Darryl in the studio with you tonight. Let's go to the phones to the fun. We got Dale. He's in Seattle, Washington. Dale, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello.
Hi.
I would like to talk about a thing I've noticed through Free Talk Live lately.
Yeah.
Your co-host, Darryl.
Yeah, he's right here.
Pardon me, Darryl. I don't mean to be rude, but I would like to point out the fact that you seem to cut off people as they are talking, in ironically a fashion that is not uniform to the Free Talk Live credence.
Okay, I don't know what you're referring to. Are you referring to?
Nor do I.
Are you referring to co-hosts? Are you referring to callers?
Yes, I would. Well, obviously, callers.
Well, it wasn't obvious. That's why I asked you.
Step on the toes of his boss there, would he?
Well, there are no bosses here, but.
Oh no, he doesn't get paid by anyone. No, that's not possible.
No, actually, there are no bosses here at Free Talk Live.
There's no paychecks.
Nope, there's no paychecks.
There's no paychecks. You guys don't have advertisements.
We do have advertisements, but there are no paychecks.
You have advertisements. So what do the advertisers pay for?
They pay for advertising.
And whom do they pay?
They pay for advertising, but let's not get into all those details.
They pay for advertising, but they would pay an individual or at least a corporate entity.
No,
correct?
There is no corporate entity here.
What's that got to do with?
I apologize. An entity that
You can
would
jump to conclusions
accept the
if you want.
payment for said advertisement.
Huh?
Is there a place that would accept payment for advertisement?
Yeah, Free Talk
Like
Live.
I would like to advertise the fact that I walk dogs.
Okay, cool. Well, you can contact
the
Mark
weekend.
at mark@freetalklive.com. He'd be happy to set you up with some advertising for that.
Well,
But
what's that got to do with?
And then how does
let's get back to your original point here,
That's not the
Dale.
point. But the original point
So
is
you don't like that
back
some
to
people get
Darryl,
interrupted.
And much like you, cutting me off.
No, you haven't been cut off. You're right here.
So Darryl,
Yes, Darryl's right here. He's
yeah,
listening.
Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. I heard a little.
No, I know you're paranoid that you're going to get cut off, but you have not been cut off yet. You haven't said the F word
No,
or
I'm not paranoid.
something like that.
I am trying to express the point that I was actually listening to a Free Talk Live podcast recently where a man was trying to reiterate a point because much like you, the person who hosts the show can't remember a fact or some story from 3 days ago unless it suits your opinion.
Which host are you talking about? Are you still talking about Darryl?
Darryl cut off a person probably 3 days. I'm not sure about which podcast it is. It's just
Well, that's
every
okay.
podcast that Darryl's on.
Yeah. All right. Well, not everybody's
cuts off
perfect.
the person
So you found
generally, except for right now,
Yeah.
So you're going to go ahead and use that.
Well, you're rambling now, so I'm going to go ahead and put you on hold and interrupt you, which I do.
I'm
because
wondering
it's my
if
purview.
I wonder if he's talking about the guy from New Jersey or Philly that keeps calling in to promote his YouTube channel about rambling
that guy?
stuff.
Well, look,
that
I mean-
as soon as he starts spelling his name,
Yeah,
we know
he's not-
exactly who he is,
He needs
and
to be
he's
banned
been
from the show
warned.
because I've warned him before, and he's called back since he got off his ban. And I told you about it, Darryl. That
Right,
he's
and
been,
the last time he called in, which I believe was Thursday night, and he started
That would've
the
been the
thing,
last
I
time you
put
hosted.
him on hold, and I did mention you've been warned about this before.
Right. So did you ban him again?
I believe I did.
Okay. Because if not, if he calls back, I will ban him again because he's not supposed to be doing that. But look, Dale, part and parcel of running a talk show is that sometimes you have to interrupt somebody. Now, I haven't noticed that Darryl's any better or worse at interrupting than any other host. Honestly, I think that everybody has to do it at some point because sometimes you have callers that are just going to ramble on. And if you want to have a talk show that is entertaining, you can't just allow a caller to just have a platform for rambling with no particular point.
You
right?
also can't let people just call in and advertise their products for free because then no one
Right.
would buy advertising.
Right, exactly. So, Dale, I'm sorry that it hurts you to hear that happening, but that's just kind of how talk radio works.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt the lady there. I apologize. And
You didn't interrupt her.
No, it was a character I was trying to play. To be honest,
We had you on hold.
but
We didn't hear a word that you said.
And, so what is true of what I said is actually as a Free Talk Live listener of a long time. I'm sorry. You guys might have heard of Mega Bowser before.
No.
Or something like that.
Is that a Mario Brothers
perhaps
character?
not.
Could be.
I got on a whole YouTube rabbit hole the other day, and I saw the way the guy was talking. I thought it was pretty funny.
Which guy was talking?
No, Darryl. To be honest,
You're a little bit jumpy here. You said you got on YouTube, you saw a way a guy was talking. You're kind of losing me here, dude. What are you trying to say?
No. I'm saying that was the character I was playing to try.
Okay, let's hear from Dale,
my
the real
point.
guy. What does
To
Dale, the real guy,
real,
have to say?
Actual point that I'm trying to express. I apologize if I
Stop apologizing.
Are you high right now?
Just point out. Just say what you want to say. All right. Well, thanks for the call tonight. I tried. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
He did call in from Washington, right?
He did. Are you suggesting that means something?
It's not like it's difficult to get weed everywhere else. I mean,
He sounded like he was fairly high.
I don't know about that. It just sounded like people get nervous.
He was disjointed, definitely.
People get nervous. I mean, it's a nerve-wracking thing calling a radio show. I still get nervous when I call talk radio shows.
True.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Look, if you feel like you're being interrupted, you feel like that's wrong, then, mention something. Like, hey, give me a moment to talk, and most of the time we'll back down for a moment. But if you're boring and you're rambling, we're going to have to interrupt you. Sorry.
Or if you're a chronic caller and you keep repeating yourself.
That's just how it works. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, and sometimes we interrupt each other on the show because sometimes you got to get a point in, and it's just the way things go. More coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Would it be okay if you had 2 paychecks instead of 1? I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and myself want to show you how to get an extra paycheck every month, creating an extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Email is easy, instant, and free, and that can be real embarrassing. Email lacks the eye contact and body language you get in face-to-face conversation, or the tone of voice and other nuance you hear in a telephone conversation. Email is just words, often few words. We're all smothering in spam, so we often reply in terse fashion that's easy to misunderstand. And email doesn't cost you a postage stamp, and it lacks the deliberation time it'd take to walk to the snail mail box. So it's easy to succumb to the "oh yeah" stimulus response trap. When in doubt, don't snap back at snippy messages you get. You may have mistaken the sender's intent. And unless you're sending AOL to AOL, there's no unsend. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free, bring up whatever you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. It's getting closer and closer to tax day for those of you who are into that sort of thing. And Melanie can help you out. She is a professional accountant, and she's got a tax service that will assist you with filing taxes and getting back as much money as you possibly can, because she's an anarchist and she hates the state. She's going to take that hatred, that pure, awful hatred that she has boiling within her, and she's going to use that to motivate her to find you the best deal. Melanie, how's things going with you so far this year with people contacting you? Do you have any room for new clients? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a lot better than I expected for kind of the first year.
Yep.
Or the first year redoing it anyway. Definitely got plenty of room. I kind of expect a lot of people to come in April, but if you come now, I'll get it done sooner.
Okay.
Probably.
That means you get the return sooner, right? Or the refund or whatever?
In theory.
Right.
We can't ever promise what they're going to do on the IRS's
Sure.
end, but yeah, and then definitely throughout the year have time for a lot of bookkeeping clients so that you can be prepared for kind of tax planning. Like, okay, this is how you can move stuff to get robbed the least.
And you know all of those things. You know a lot of the secrets, things that people just don't know. The average folks who are filing taxes, you're not professionals. You don't know the ins and the outs of the system. Melanie does, and she can help you with that. Go to her over at tax.freetalklive.com and get in touch. That'll actually take you right to Melanie's website, tax.freetalklive.com. Now's a good time to reach out, or you can procrastinate, and she'll help you out later as well.
Yes.
All right. So once again, that's tax.freetalklive.com. As we continue here, just saw a headline over at Drudge Report about Michael Savage. Now, for people that don't know the name Michael Savage, who is he?
He's kind of competition.
He used to be direct competition. Now he's
right. That's why
not.
I said kind of. His live day part is different, but some of the stations still delay broadcast to the time slot. He used to be
He's a talk show host.
Super conservative. His tagline, I believe, is still borders, language, culture. I know that's
right.
what it was many years ago. He very briefly had a show on, was it MSNBC that he had the show on back like 15 years ago that lasted very briefly.
Really?
Where he wore like a bomber jacket sort of thing. Yeah.
Never saw that. But he is a terrible man who is an advocate of closing the borders, and apparently now he's talking about running for the U.S. Senate.
In California?
In California. Headline here from Breitbart. As Michael Savage contemplates a run for the U.S. Senate in California, the radio star Monday unveiled, that's today, a platform of borders, language, and culture. In an email to Breitbart News, Savage outlined his plan for the Golden State if he decides to jump into the race. Point number 1. He says he wants to seal the borders and build the wall like a citadel, as well as deport illegal aliens.
Yeah, that's not going to really go over very well in California that just became a sanctuary state.
Really? What happened there?
They passed something at the state level prohibiting local law enforcement from cooperating with the feds if the feds don't have warrants.
Excellent.
Yes.
Glad to
So
hear
it
that.
doesn't go far enough, and it doesn't actually do what most people think when they hear the term sanctuary state. But I think, prohibiting local law enforcement from cooperating with feds when feds don't have warrants is a good thing.
We'll continue here with more of Savage's campaign platform, if he's going to run, which he has not yet really said he's going to, and what that could mean if he actually does. I think it'd be great news if he did, and I'll explain why.
The filing deadline is March 9th, so he has to decide fairly quickly. The primary is June 5th, and California has the thing they call the top two, meaning that only the top two candidates that wind up coming in 1 or 2 in the primary, regardless of political party, are the 2 candidates on the general election ballot. Most likely it's going to be 2 Democrats, and that's it.
Let's talk to Vernon in New Orleans. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Vernon.
So that previous caller that seemed a little high, I was going to follow up with maybe what he was trying to articulate. And so, Darryl, I think maybe what he was trying to say is that you come off sometimes condescending. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's great for talk radio. I'm just saying maybe it offends people occasionally. And maybe also you come off as a know-it-all. But
Well, Darryl does know it all on certain topics. I mean, he really does.
No, really, he's the keeper of all these minuscule facts and different things. But maybe that's just what he was trying to say in his own weird way.
I don't think that's what he was trying to say. He was upset about being interrupted or having some other caller being interrupted, and of course he wasn't specifying which one. So he's making it sound like Darryl just has a habit of interrupting, which, maybe he does. I don't know. I've never noticed it myself. More, like I said, more or less than any other host, because it's sort of part and parcel of hosting talk radio is you have to keep the conversation going.
Yes.
And that can mean stopping down and asking a question to clarify, because I'll interrupt somebody, for instance, if I don't understand what's being said. Like, well, hold on, are you saying this? I like to ask questions to clarify, to make sure that I'm understanding, because I don't want to ever pretend like that I do know what somebody's saying if I don't. I want it to be known that, hey, wait, no, I missed that. What? Can you restate that or whatever? Or I'll try to restate a thing in my own words to see if I've actually correctly understood the caller, which is that's a sign of a good listener in that particular case. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what Darryl did or didn't do, because, again, we don't have the example of what he was referring to.
Specify a day or a caller or whatever, just that I did a thing.
And, the whole condescending claim, I'm sorry, I just, I don't understand that either. I don't feel like somebody on this show believes they're better than anybody else, because ultimately that's
I think Mark would disagree, because Mark would say that he believes he's better than other people.
I guess I meant on this show today.
Mark also doesn't claim to be an anarchist, so.
What's that have to do with anything?
Well, I thought you were going to say because we're all...
No, I wasn't going to say anything about that. I was saying that condescension. I've been accused of it before as well, and I think the suggestion there is that a person who's condescending believes they are better. They believe they know more or whatever. And I'm just a human. I'm full of mistakes, and we all make mistakes. And anyway,
some people would disagree that you're a human. Mark would actually
disagree
say
that you're a human.
That you're a friendly alien trying to understand human culture.
Anyway, Vernon, go ahead, though, if you've got more to say.
He did raise an interesting issue, and I was just curious, without going into too much detail that you're uncomfortable with, just curious about the financial structure of Free Talk Live. From what I understand, it's an outreach of the Shire Free Church.
Yeah, that's correct.
If I said that correct. Okay, and so the pastors or the reverends, I'm sorry, I forget what you all have titled yourselves, share in the donations, which is via the advertisements, correct?
So the church, the Shire Free Church, runs Free Talk Live, and so revenue from Free Talk Live goes into the Shire Free Church. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
Yep.
And then he had raised the issue of pay, and you had said there's no paycheck. So
there's no
really
paychecks. But Darryl does get a little bit of money in cash for performing his affiliate relations duties for Free Talk Live, which has more to do with the AMP program than it does advertising. So the AMP program pays for advertising, marketing, promoting Free Talk Live. Darryl, one of his responsibilities is contacting radio stations, and so he gets a small portion of the AMP money that comes in every single month for that. And again, there is no paycheck. No one has ever received a paycheck as there's no employee, first of all, of Free Talk Live, and there never has been.
All right, great. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Vernon. And there's never been the guy who jumped to the conclusion figuring, well, there's a corporation. Nope, there's never been a Free Talk Live corporation, ever. 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. There's a bank account that has a DBA on it, but that's not the same thing as a corporation.
Not a corporation.
Nope. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Free Talk Live.
I did all this construction. Well, I had the inspector come through, and he tells me it looks really good, but I think it looks better with Mr. Hamilton. I go, excuse me? He grabs a sledgehammer, and he just starts tearing the place apart. He says it'd be better with Mr. Hamilton. He was looking for payoff.
A $10 bill?
The guy was crazy. He went into my kitchen, and he asked for Mr. Lincoln.
I don't think I believe you.
My mother left me a porcelain doll collection that he just went to town on. And this is the problem with having to have inspections.
Thanks for the call, man. No, that was believable at the very first point.
The guy was asking for Mr. Hamilton.
How about Mr.
Alexander
Franklin?
Hamilton is on the front of a $10 bill. I mean, I'm like, holy crap, he's banging holes in the wall for a $10 bill?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live dial, toll free, join us right here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Darryl.
Now, of course, you can bring up anything that you want, and you can also call us on our on-air call-in line on Discord over at discord.lrn.fm, where the chat room is hopping with people hanging out there sometimes before, during, and even after the show over at discord.lrn.fm. And we did mention the AMP program just a moment ago when we were talking about kind of the behind-the-scenes money situation with Free Talk Live. Somebody called in.
Because that makes for great radio.
Somebody called in. They wanted to know.
Yeah, we make like $3 million an hour. That's how we're able to have this as a job.
No, Bolivar Fuerte.
There you go. What would that break down to? 3 million Bolivar Fuerte right now. What was it? 250,000 to $1 US.
Yeah.
So that's let's see, $4 for. So that's like that'd be $12 an hour, something like.
You still can't live off that with like the. We're not on the radio 40 hours a week. I mean, this is not. It's not even a sensible allegation.
So let's see. AMP program, you want to help us out. You want to help get Free Talk Live on more radio stations around the country. We've got 179 broadcast AM, FM licensed radio stations across the United States. And we can have more. It just takes money. It takes resources. It takes the advertise, market, and promote program. amp.freetalklive.com. That's where you can go. You can get signed up there. You can use any major credit card as long as it's Visa and MasterCard. I hear that American Express works, but no one's ever tried it to really. I don't have one, so I can't possibly test it. If you've got one and you want to try, feel free and let us know if it's even a thing that you can do. I've heard that it's a thing, but anyway.
It is a thing.
Yeah. amp.freetalklive.com. You can definitely use Bitcoin Core, and people might actually be willing to do that now that the fees are down. And then also PayPal. So you can go and get signed up. You can help us get on more radio stations by effectively marketing and promoting Free Talk Live to those stations. And you can see some of the perks you'll get access to, like the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the same commercial load that our regular podcast does. And also there's other AMP perks like the AMP-only chat rooms in our Discord and the AMP-only Facebook group. So once again, go to amp.freetalklive.com, where some people will be very happy to know that I did ban James Whittakind from the AMP-only Facebook group last night.
And you just mentioned him on these public airwaves, and he will not be happy about that.
Well, whatever. He's never happy.
He's not happy anyway,
Yeah,
so what difference does it make?
Right. He's just not a happy man, which is his choice. And so for listeners that are unfamiliar, James is a man who has been calling this show for a number of years. He's always upset about something that we said to him at some point in the past, and he can't stop rehashing the past. And I think he was one of the first people to be banned from Free Talk Live. I think Dave from New York was first, but then James Whittakind was the second person, I think, ultimately to be banned from Free Talk Live. Always temporary bans. We always let the bans expire because I just don't like the idea of not giving somebody a second chance. And,
or a third or a fourth.
Right. And so he's threatened people on the air. He's threatened people off the air, hosts of the show, mostly Mark, but he's threatened some of the rest of us as well. And it doesn't bother me.
And when I went to Arizona last year, he
didn't you try to fight him or something?
He made some kind of veiled threat of, if you show up in Phoenix, you'll be sorry.
You told him where and when though you were going to show up, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you were ready to go.
I'm staying at this hotel and I'm going to be at this event.
Right. Didn't you tell him when you were getting off the plane or something like that?
Probably.
Yeah.
No, that way nobody could say oh, Darryl's a coward, and here's my itinerary for the event.
But he didn't show up.
Right,
you didn't
I
get to
never
meet
saw him.
And so he's threatened people who are hosts of the show. And then a few months ago, several months maybe at this point, he joined the Free Talk Live AMP program, which was a surprise, right? Because he hates the show.
No, it wasn't. You might hate somebody $5 a month worth.
Well, yes, apparently you might. I mean, it was a surprise to me. I didn't expect it to happen. And rather than reject his AMP money, which some people would have wanted me to do, I accepted it and I gave him the perks as an amplifier would receive, which included getting him into the Free Talk Live AMP forum or the AMP group on Facebook.
Yep.
Where there was some discussion, I think, in advance about that as to whether or not we should let James in. And, of course, I'm of the mindset of he's paying. He should get in. If you don't like it, just block him, right? Because you know what you're going to get with James. You're going to get an angry man who is going to, have arguments with you.
He is the complete opposite of a box of chocolates.
Meaning you don't know what you're going to get with a box of chocolates. Right.
Mama says life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
But you do know you're getting chocolate usually when it comes to the box of chocolates.
Most of them are labeled now anyway.
Do they really? That's so, I don't know. Is that...
I don't think I've ever bought one that wasn't labeled.
They are
you
labeled.
want to know what you want to eat.
Well, the old boxes, I think the labeling was on the bottom.
Really?
Where now you open the lid and it's on the inside of the lid.
Cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, James, was allowed into that group, and as you should have expected, he got into online internet fights with people in the group who, some of them were genuinely trying to get through to him. They were trying to have a humane conversation with him, to try to get him to understand the error of his angry ways. And of course,
which is not really a thing that you can do.
No, of course it didn't work at all, and it just resulted in him issuing threats to our listeners and to the other listeners. And apparently, I guess they got tired of it. And Mark is obviously tired of him threatening his family and so on and so forth. And so Mark put up a poll recently in that group and asked people what they thought should be done. And a large chunk of the population that voted to get rid of him. And of course, my first objection was, well, this would be asking me to do something unprecedented in this group, which is to say, to actually cancel someone's amp. I mean, people cancel their own amps all the time for various reasons. They quit their job or get fired or something like that, and they don't have a lot of money, and so they got to cut back. And one of the things that they cut back is the amp program. So there's different reasons why people will leave the AMP program, but I've never in the now 13-year history of the AMP program, because we started it in 2005, I've never canceled anybody's AMP. And so I feel like, well, if people don't want him in this group, and it seemed pretty clear that a lot of people didn't want him there, and my original statement was, well, just block him. If you don't like him, just block him.
Right.
And then somebody else said, a longtime supporter of the show said, well, he could just block him, but then he knows that he's still going to ruin other threads that he's on, and he won't be able to see how he's ruining the thread. And so it's just like, all right, well.
Right, and then threads just become disjointed because you see somebody's responding to something.
But you don't see the blocked person at that point. And so, people said they didn't want him there, and I was like, well, I don't want to cancel somebody's amp, but at the same time, if I'm going to remove somebody from the group, I feel like I have to go all the way and just cancel them, right? Because I can't advertise on the show, hey, you get access to these cool perks, and then remove one of the perks from somebody and say, we're going to keep taking your money. So I went ahead last night, removed him from the group. I issued him a refund for his most recent AMP payment, which came out on the 19th of this month. So, I wanted to make sure that he couldn't complain, right? Like, I already paid for my month. Well, here's your $5 back. So he's out of the group. His AMP's been canceled. He's been refunded his most recent payment. So he got all his perks up until that most recent one.
Yep.
And I feel like I removed him from the email list. So he's completely de-amped. I hope that makes people happy. I hope that that's the first and last time that something like that happens, to where somebody's so unpopular within the AMP community that
and unpleasant,
and that they end up getting removed.
Well, and it's not like people just didn't like him for no reason, or they didn't like him because they disagreed with whatever points he was making. He was there for the explicit purpose of trolling and threatening people and threatening the children of some of the people in the group.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it's not like people were just being completely arbitrary. There was very good reasons for that.
So you support this?
Supports removing someone who's threatening 10-year-olds and only there to troll and not really engaging? Yeah.
Well, I don't care if somebody's just trolling, right? But, I mean, I guess the threatening thing, some people take that pretty seriously. I don't really take him seriously about it. It's like, whatever. He can say whatever he wants. It really doesn't bother me at all. The only reason I banned him from the phone lines in the studio here is because he kept calling during Vincent's show. Or, no, it was during Will's show, Call to Freedom, on LRN.FM. And we only have one phone line that's working in the studio at the moment. So he just kept calling and calling and calling and calling. And I said, look, they'd already put him on the air and we're done with his call. And I said, look, James, I was screening calls, and I said, look, you need to stop calling. We need to make it so other people can call in. And I said, if you don't stop, then I'm going to have to ban you from, being able to call in. We'll block your number. And he kept calling after that. So, I gave him fair warning in that particular case. I feel like I've been more than fair in this whole circumstance.
Yeah, because he was interrupting the show just like he's interrupting.
Well, in that case, he wasn't interrupting the show. He wasn't getting on the air. We had already let him on the air, and I had told him, you need to get off the phone so other people can call in.
Right, he was interrupting the ability of the show.
Right.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, February 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.69 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,338 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $36, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,182. Antiwar.com reports after several days of fighting over the exact wording, the UN Security Council has unanimously backed a ceasefire resolution over the weekend calling for an end to fighting in not just eastern Ghouta, a suburb of the Syrian capital of Damascus, but the rest of the country. Over 500 people, mostly civilians, have been killed in the past week in fighting around the Ghouta area, the last substantial rebel-held territory near the capital, as Syrian and Russian forces pounded the territory to try to force evacuation deals. The deal is to stop fighting and get humanitarian aid into the area without delay, but timing isn't clear, with the Syrian government saying they don't consider it valid against terrorist groups, but promising to work quickly on getting aid into those areas. Turkey has said they don't believe the ceasefire applies to their invasion, though Syria says it does. Aid shipments are difficult to get into combat areas, though a recent UN Red Crescent shipment around Damascus likely will serve as a model for yet more influxes into the besieged areas, where large numbers of civilians remain trapped in what are basically open fire zones. The disputes already about interruption of the language of the ceasefire suggest it's going to be tough going to really get it implemented in a timely fashion, but everyone seems to be satisfied for now, with all having the impression the deal orders everyone to stop fighting but permits their respective offensives. With the ceasefire only covering a 30-day span, that could easily mean that, like some previous efforts, the ceasefire will be largely over by the time there's any agreement on what it actually says, and mostly serves as an excuse for the nations involved to condemn one another for violating the terms as they understand them.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co.
UPI reports the mayor of Oakland, California, warned residents over the weekend of a potential raid conducted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. In a news release, Mayor Libby Schaaf said she had information from credible sources about an immigration sweep in the coming days. Schaaf also said she did not know details of any potential ICE sweeps, including locations. Her statement over the weekend comes less than 2 months after ICE Director Thomas Homan promised a 400% increase in workplace immigration raids. In October, Governor Jerry Brown signed into law legislation that makes California a sanctuary state by prohibiting local law enforcement from asking about somebody's immigration status or handing suspects to immigration officials without a warrant. State lawmakers also passed a bill to make it illegal for employers to give immigration officials information about an employee without a warrant. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a Florida sheriff came under mounting criticism on Sunday for his deputies' response to this month's deadly high school shooting and potential warning signs as dozens of state lawmakers called for his ouster as the governor ordered an independent inquiry. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel insisted that only one of his armed deputies is so far known to have been at fault for staying outside the school while it was under attack rather than entering to confront the gunman who shot 17 people to death. That deputy, Scott Peterson, identified as the school's assigned resource officer, has resigned rather than face suspension and possible dismissal after his actions were caught on video during the shooting, according to the sheriff. News outlets including CNN and NBC have since reported that at least 3 more armed Broward County Sheriff's deputies were present on the scene, taking cover behind their vehicles instead of immediately going into the school. Sheriff Israel sought to dismiss those reports, but did not rule out, however, that the investigation could find other deputies who failed to act properly during or immediately after the shooting, which authorities said lasted between 6 to 7 minutes. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The entire nation has been transfixed by the emotional saga of missing toddler Aaron Crawford. Police remain baffled by 4-year-old Aaron's mysterious disappearance. The Crawford family is finally speaking out, but it isn't easy.
We're taking it day by day, you know? We just miss our baby so much.
This must be so hard on everyone.
All he does is cry. I hate him.
Little Aaron was last seen in the bedroom he shares with his older brother, Denny. Authorities say he was abducted by an intruder in the middle of the night.
Denny was in the room when Aaron was taken.
Yeah, right here. Now it's just my room.
Denny, can you tell us what happened?
I was in my room. A man lifted up the window and came in.
Were you scared?
Yes, because I thought he's going to take my Xbox.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. Just dial in toll free here. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Darryl.
So apparently talk show host Michael Savage, who is just a right-wing nutcase and wants to build a big border wall, is now talking about running for Senate.
That's going to be a really big wall on the California-Nevada border when California secedes.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think he would stay in California if California seceded, or would he move into Nevada or something like that?
I don't know. He'd probably move back to New York, where he's originally from.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Why would he live in those two states, being who he is?
He is a statist?
Right, but he is a conservative.
He is a conservative, but he's also an environmentalist as well. So he's not your typical, from that aspect, he sort of positions himself as like an environmental conservative, because the final point on his platform of a Senate run that he has not yet decided that he's going to do, apparently.
But he's got to decide quick because filing deadline coming up in, what is it, about 2 weeks?
That's what you told me, yeah. What, early March?
March 9th, I think the date was.
He claims he wants to be, quote, strong on the environment, unquote. This is in an email that he sent to Breitbart. We'll tell you more about his plan here, which, again, may not be a plan. It may just be him trying to generate some publicity for himself without actually running for the office.
Right.
Because the big question is...
Oh, it's like when Ventura wound up, I'm considering possibly maybe going to do something, and I'll let you know later, but I might wind up doing this thing.
The big question that I have, the reason why I think this is interesting, and I hope he does run, is because, as I understand it, he may have to quit his job if he actually does run for Senate, which is why he's not going to, likely, right?
Right.
Like, that's why Laura Ingraham isn't going to become the spokesperson for Donald Trump, and that's why Michael Savage isn't actually going to run for Senate.
Right, and again, because California has this weird thing they call the top two system, to where only the top two vote getters, regardless of political party, are on the general election ballot. Essentially, if he did run, he would give up his talk radio show from March until June.
And would his syndicate, which is Cumulus Media Networks, a.k.a. Westwood One, as they call it in the business here, which is one of the biggest radio syndicates out there, would they allow him to continue as having a fill-in host for 3 months while he ran for this office?
Good question.
Yeah, so that's why I hope that he actually does run, because I would love to see his show go down in flames, because then we might get some more radio affiliates out of it. So I hope that he'll go for it, but I don't expect that he will. We'll tell you a little bit more here about the platform, the alleged platform, in a moment, but let's talk to Caleb in Chattanooga, Tennessee, listening to WGOW. Caleb, you're on Free Talk Live, which is probably one of the stations that runs Michael Savage's show during the week. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call here.
Yeah, Dr. Michael Savage, I agree with a lot of things he says, and I do enjoy listening to Michael Savage on WGOW. But as far as him being a right-wing conservative, he really misses the mark when it comes to gun rights and the Second Amendment. Really, here recently, Michael Savage has been talking about a lot of gun control and how that is necessary, and he's not really getting the big picture about liberty and free rights.
He's not a
libertarian. And how our Constitution was made. No, he's not a libertarian.
He, like most talk show hosts, are not libertarian at all, and he's just an arch statist, you know?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but he definitely doesn't have...
well, what freedoms does he support?
That's a good question.
Okay. If you on Free Talk Live, we support all of the freedoms.
If you can't name a single freedom he supports, then that pretty much means he's not in any.
He supports your right to not be a liberal.
Well, liberal is a very perverted term, because the modern-day definition of liberalism does not mean the classical definition of a Thomas Jefferson liberal.
That's absolutely true. A classical liberal would be more like a libertarian.
That confuses people when you're talking to people in other countries on the internet.
Right.
Because they still use the original definition.
Caleb?
Now, I do agree that Michael Savage, when it comes to taxes and economics, is more of a fiscal liberal or a fiscal conservative.
Okay.
But
that doesn't impress me much. I mean, look, you're either, if you are against taxes, then you are a person who cares about liberty. If you just want to trim it back a little bit, then that doesn't excite me.
Especially considering we're talking about California. Right. It's not like you're in New Hampshire. It's like, okay, there's 2 taxes. Let's cut one by a third. It's like, it's California.
Now, me personally, I do support a lot of the views when it comes to anarcho-capitalism, and I'm a big fan of Stefan Molyneux.
Ooh. Stefan Molyneux used to be an anarchist. He used to be somebody who was against the state, but he recently, as of the last year or two, became a total Last 4, maybe. Okay. Well, I mean, he totally jumped the shark during the Trump campaign when he
Yes.
actually started singing the national anthem, the United States national anthem.
Okay, so
on
that
one of his
video
videos.
was kind of a troll,
No, I
although
don't
he
think
did
so.
become a statist.
I mean, you don't. That seemed to be legit. Like, why would somebody sing the national anthem of a country in which
Because he
they're
had
not
a bunch of people messaging him, "Oh, you're just like gonna sing the national anthem. That's how big of a statist you are." And he was like, "Oh yeah, well I will sing," which doesn't make any sense because he's Canadian.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. And now he's like, apparently, didn't he go white nationalist, racist, or something like that?
Something like that.
I don't know.
That's what I heard. And that was already after
That's
he
just
jumped the
some
shark.
talking points.
Huh?
Telling you, he still is an anarcho-capitalist, but at the same time, he's a pragmatist.
He did
You understand
say
it's not going to be.
he did say that he was advocating violating the NAP, so he's still like
The non-aggression
recognizing the
principle?
NAP in some way,
Mhm.
but saying that he's essentially making a lifeboat argument. And while I don't agree with that,
What's that?
so if you're, it's a hypo from a while back where if you're in a lifeboat with 5 people, but it's only going to support 4 people, or you're all going to drown and you push a guy off, does that violate the NAP? Yes.
The non-aggression
Oh,
principle.
I've always heard the lifeboat thing of, so who do you throw into the ocean?
Well, apparently Molyneux would
Yeah,
throw
but
the
it's a
brown
pretty
person in.
traditional hypo, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think that anybody with can seriously, with a straight face, defend Stefan Molyneux as an anarcho-capitalist or a voluntarist.
Well, hear
or
me
anything-
out
Any of
here.
the things that he used to actually be. We've had him on the show, by the way. He sat in our remote studios from the Porcupine Freedom Festival in the past.
And I respect that. But when you come to talk about anarcho-capitalism, there's 2 transitions. You can either have a smooth transition, or you have to wait for society to collapse so you can build upon the rubble with free market society.
Well, first of all, if people haven't gotten to the point where they understand why not having a state is a valuable thing, you're never going to get to it. Even if society collapses, they'll just build another state after that. So it has to be an educational process where people have to be informed and they have to choose liberty. They have to choose voluntarism. They have to choose interacting with other human beings on a consensual basis. And it's sad when such a great communicator, who Stefan Molyneux was, I think, one of the best communicators of these ideas for a long period of time, has taken such a dive. And it really started to go bad when he used government copyright against one of his former fans, one of his former supporters. The True Shibes channel on YouTube had put critical videos up of Stefan Molyneux using Stefan's own video clips to criticize him. And he didn't like that very much, so he used copyright even after he'd spoken out against intellectual property on his own show to crush that channel and take it out of existence. And it was around that time, it was actually before that happened, that I got rid of him from LRN.FM. And then he did that, and that just absolutely certified that I had made the right choice to dump him. Hey, Caleb, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. He was also starting to go in this sort of, it's kind of like anti-female direction.
Yeah, the MRA
bigoted
thing.
The what?
MRA, men's rights.
Oh, men's rights. I thought you said MRE. Okay, more coming up here in moments, which would be meals ready to eat, and that wouldn't make much sense. More coming up here. You can take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We mentioned cryptocurrencies earlier here tonight, and if you're new to the idea, then you should go to Bitcoin.com to learn the basics about what Bitcoin is. It was the first, and there, of course, have been many more since then. But learn about the that which created all of them, that from which all pretty much have been spawned from. Bitcoin.com is a great place to go and learn that. And you'll also get the latest news headlines as well. So maybe if you're not that new to Bitcoin, you just want to get the latest news, go to news.bitcoin.com, and you can get what's happening there. It's updated multiple times every day. And they do a good job of keeping up with what's happening around the world in the world of Bitcoin. And it is a big and deep world, so jump right in over at Bitcoin.com. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Darryl.
All right, so a man who is one of our competitors, Michael Savage, is possibly going to run for Senate, and I hope that he does. I mean, he's probably just teasing, but if he does, that would mean he'd have to go off the air. And if that happens, then that means maybe Free Talk Live will take some of his places. We're kind of like the radio vulture. We sort of lurk around. We wait until somebody ends up dying, and then we pick at the carcass and hope that we get some of their radio affiliates. And so anyway, Savage apparently is going to be running, if he does run, on the border thing that he's all about. Seal the borders, he says. Build the wall like a citadel and deport illegal aliens.
Which California can't do, but okay.
Well, here's the question.
He's talking about the U.S.
Right. He's running for U.S. Senate.
Oh, okay.
But here's the question. What ballot label would he run as? Okay.
That's what it says here, that apparently somebody asked him, or quote, some very important people asked him to run as an independent against Senator Dianne Feinstein. But to seal the borders, to build a wall like a citadel, deport illegal aliens, people out there get all excited about this immigration restriction thing as though it's not going to affect them. As though that, oh, well, I was born here, so I don't have to worry about this. This isn't going to affect me. And I have to ask, have those people ever gone through an immigration checkpoint? Because we talked earlier tonight about checkpoints here on Free Talk Live here in New Hampshire. They may be abolishing DUI checkpoints, and the state is being sued over immigration checkpoints. Have you ever been through one of those? Because to me, that's a hallmark of a police state.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but freedom and police state are not two things that go together.
I mean, the same people who complain about having to show their ID to buy cigarettes and alcohol are the same people who want everybody to have papers on them at all times to have to show to the cops.
No. See, they want everybody else. I shouldn't have to, but everybody, it's all them others.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. I mean, look, I understand people do want their own freedom, but if you want to be free, you have to also allow other people to be free.
Right.
You can't have it both ways.
I encourage anyone who supports, whatever sort of, papers, please legislation they support to watch the documentary 9500 Liberty.
What's that?
It's a documentary about a town in Northern Virginia, Manassas, Virginia, where the city council, and might have been like the county commission, wound up passing some kind of papers, please sort of thing back in 07, 08. It's been a really long time, but what wound up happening is 20% of the population wound up leaving.
Wow.
Grocery stores closed because grocery stores only operate on about a 10% overhead.
Well, right, and if half a chunk of the population leaves, then somebody's going to go out of business.
So stores started closing because you're losing a large chunk of your customer base, and people that had been born and raised in the U.S. but had darker skin that might look like one of them they're Mexicans, they were starting to get harassed. And hell, we even saw the thing just recently where there's the, I forget if he's Navajo, but the Native American congressman from Arizona was heckled by some Trump supporters and told to go back where you came from because they thought he was Hispanic.
Right. Wow. So if you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. So again, I'm not interested in having a police state, and I think people think that they can avoid the police state. But we just talked about earlier here tonight when we were discussing the government going into businesses, holding businesses at gunpoint and demanding papers from them to show who's working there. Are these people working there legal citizens or green card holders or whatever? That sounds to me like a absolutely harrowing, horrifying situation to be held at gunpoint and to be demanded to see papers.
But what if it's a friendly, benevolent police state? A police state where they pull you over.
When has that ever happened?
Because you're driving in accordance with all of the local laws, and then they give you a coupon for free pizza.
You've got a story about that.
I do.
Let's talk about it.
The Crestview, Florida Police Department posted on Facebook about a week ago, and they've updated the post since then. And luckily, because the way Facebook is, it's like, here's the current post. And it says, due to blah, 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 we have updated this. So let me jump in. They say the Crestview Police Department's Food from the Fuzz program will soon be rewarding good safe driving practices with a certificate for a free Papa Murphy's Faves pizza. The program, which has not yet been implemented, has generated excitement and online discussion, not just from this community, but in social media posts from as far away as Seattle and all the way to Maine. while motorists participating in the program as originally envisioned was completely voluntary. To address some concerns, the department has received the Community Services Division of the Police Department is tweaking the Food from the Fuzz program, so the agency will present the reward for good driving, a certificate, good again, for a Papa Murphy's Faves pizza without actually pulling the driver over.
But
so
they were going to originally, though.
Originally, they were going to pull drivers over, and I'm curious, they say...
How are they going to do it?
They say participation is completely voluntary. Well, how do you know that I'm volunteering to have you pull me over?
Well, how are they going to give you a coupon without pulling you over?
Well... Luckily, there's this piece of metal on the back end of a car that identifies who the owner is.
Yeah.
It gives a mailing address. They might just wind up showing up at your house or sending you something in the mail.
Okay, that's less offensive in that case, because this isn't the first time such a story has existed. There have been, over the years on Free Talk Live, we've encountered stories like this, where the cops will pull somebody over in order to give them X or some sort of, token of appreciation or what they're talking about here. I think it is kind of funny that they are using the term fuzz, which was like a hippie slang from the 1960s about the police. So, I mean, I guess kudos to the cops for embracing the slang term.
So let's continue here with Chief Tony Taylor. Programs like ours have been done by police departments all over the country without issue, and also in other countries.
Yeah, I take issue with it because you're pulling people over, and until they modified it, they were going to pull people over, which is a scary thing for people. It is, if anytime you get pulled over, I don't know about you, but adrenaline starts pumping for me. Even though, I haven't done anything wrong, I know that this guy could hurt me or do something worse.
And I'll tell you why they changed it.
All right, more coming up here in moments. 855, 450, free like freedom. Join us on Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually.
Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Really
Down the road. Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us on the radio and take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. We do have Skype. You can Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Melanie,
and Darryl.
Do you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty? You can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know that people love to read them. So check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. Once again, that's libertystickers.com. To the phones, to the fun. Steve in Virginia is on the line with us here listening to the TuneIn app. Hello, Steve. Go ahead.
Guys, enjoy listening to you guys. I thought I'd just call in, and I've been listening for a little bit, and I like a lot of the things that you guys talk about. Just to give you a little demographic profile, I'm educated, raising 2 kids. I tend to vote Republican, but I'm a little bit more libertarian in my philosophy, or should I say independent. And then the reason I called is I thought I would just give a perspective that a lot of your listeners who might be younger, I tend to think that a lot of the people that I interact with that are libertarian are pretty smart and they're very interesting people to talk to. They are engaged. They're not just they're not drinking the Kool-Aid, guys. And there's Kool-Aid drinkers on both sides, Republicans, Democrats. And I think the libertarian philosophy is making its way into particularly the Republican side of things, at least generally speaking. It's not being said, hey, we're libertarians.
What evidence do you have for that?
Well, I'm not even trying to provide evidence. I'm just trying to say that I'm giving you I'm a marketing person, and I work in media, and so I have that. I write commercials, and I do a lot of things. But anyway, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that the average person who I write to all the time and who I try to get to buy things out here in the world that I'm in, until you get a lot of the older population that are in the baby boomer generation and older to basically be more open-minded to libertarianism and not be scared of it, and particularly down in the southeastern part of the country where I am from. And I've been all over the world, and I've traveled everywhere. I've been all over the place. But anyway, the point is, a lot of those people, for example, in 2012, they wouldn't vote for a Mormon. I mean, that's just it sounded ridiculous to me. But I was always open to different people voting for parties even like yours. But realistically, unless someone in some of the main parties begins to adopt some of the things, I always looked at it as who's on our team. You guys were talking about Savage earlier. And a lot of us out here like to listen to Savage because, particularly when he's talking about cooking and his life and what he grew up in, and when he used to be more of a liberal herbalist and a guy that was in the jungle studying plants and doing things and
He
writing
should have stayed
books
in the jungle.
I understand that.
Yeah.
He is entertaining to listen to. I don't have to agree with him, but most people like me are looking for people to try to get things done instead of being a complete 100% purist in something. Let's all try to figure out where we are right now and try to get some things accomplished.
Daryl,
so we can move forward.
can libertarians get things accomplished? I mean, we're pretty purist here on this show. You're a lobbyist. What do you think? Is it possible to be a purist but also get things accomplished?
Yes. Yes, it is. And I actually had a senator last year make sure that I was aware that he introduced an amendment to a bill after my testimony.
I love it.
Meaning he was influenced by you?
Right. So what the bill was supposed to have done was deregulate electric grills that are used outside. The bill as introduced created a whole new set of regulations for electric grills when used outside. I testified if the intent is to deregulate, which is what is listed as the title, then your bill is too long. It needs to end after the first sentence. And what he did was introduced an amendment to eliminate everything from the bill after the first sentence.
So that's an example.
Well, see, I think what you're talking. I'm just talking about the macro idea of trying to get people to understand. Common sense to me is the thing you're talking about and the things you say. Sometimes people that are, especially educated folks that try to do the right thing every day and try to understand what the issues are, they'll sometimes hear different people talking on talk radio stations. Like I'm in the WNIS zone here. You guys are on that channel.
That's our Saturday night affiliate there in
That's
Virginia.
exactly right. And I tune in when I'm there, when I'm out running around. If I'm doing things, I'll have that on and I'll be listening to you guys. Right. But anyway, a lot of the talk show hosts, it's very sexy. I'll just say it this way. It is very sexy and very cool to be a libertarian talk show host that challenges the listeners to think, okay? And that is often what goes on in talk radio.
No,
and when
it's
I
not.
worked in talk radio, I found...
No, it's not, Steve. There's hardly any libertarian talk show hosts out there. We're really the only show that's got them.
There are a couple, and I will say he's partially right. There are a couple of talk show hosts
local ones
that will throw around the word libertarian.
And I think there are actually some like Libertarian Party members who do host like a local show. I know that
local. Yeah, I was speaking. All I was speaking was, Ian, of local.
I see.
Local programming. Like in this market, there's a guy named Tony McCreaney, and he totally ticks off a lot of the quote unquote Republican voters who are in this area, which is a military area in southeastern Virginia near the Navy base and all that. But he does challenge thinking. And there's another guy on there that's with him that does challenge thinking. So locally, we do have someone here who really challenges everybody. And I'm just saying to you that keep on with the fight. Keep doing what you're doing.
Well, that's why we're here, right?
I mean, you're doing it.
Right.
You're doing it, and you're being consistent. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And that's why we're here. I mean, we want to get people thinking. Even if they don't agree, we want them to think about things from a perspective that they don't normally get. You know, the reason why people like Michael Savage are popular is because he panders to that anger that people have, where they want to blame other people for their problems and find some sort of scapegoat. In this case, it's the liberals, or it's the immigrants, or you fill in the blank of whoever the scapegoat is at the moment. And that kind of talk radio has been very, very popular for a long time, and I understand why it's popular. It's the reason why Chris Cantwell is popular, a former co-host on Free Talk Live, because they pander to that anger sentiment. And certainly it's easy to be angry. There's a lot of things out there to be angry about, but I think it is important to stay positive and realize that humanity is things are getting better, I think, over time. It's a long run. It takes a long time. It's an ugly process of improvement and evolution. And if we can contribute to that a little bit by doing our little radio show on 179 radio stations right now and having people hear us and hopefully calling in to talk about these ideas, there's no guarantee that everything that we say is right here on Free Talk Live, but we do pretty firmly believe in the ideas of non-aggression, and I think that is an incontrovertible truth that is right. To not aggress against our peaceful neighbors, and that's ultimately the basis of libertarianism. And if we can effectively communicate that on a regular basis here, maybe people will finally understand what libertarianism actually is, instead of having it polluted by people like Gary Johnson or Glenn Beck, who like to tout that they're libertarians and then actually don't explain or express what the non-aggression principle is and why this basic concept that we learned in preschool should be something that we as adults adhere to in our lives today. Steve, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. It's sad, but the fact is these are real basic, simple ideas that people just can't seem to get a hold of. They just can't let go of their desire to control their neighbor. And until they do, we're never going to get to that next level of humanity's evolution. We'll get there at some point, though, over time.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply, or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now, earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us in the remaining moments here. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. How would you feel if the cops pulled you over and then gave you a coupon for a free pizza?
Annoyed?
Really annoyed.
How would you feel about the pizza company in that particular case? Because obviously the...
Annoyed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably take it out on the pizza company.
How would you do that?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it for long amounts of time.
Would you burn the pizza coupon? Would you order the pizza and then turn it upside down and just like throw it on the floor? And
I'd
make
probably
some
complain to
guy...
headquarters, like, y'all gave me a free coupon, but you threatened to kill me first, and that's
right.
Like, just tell the story, but in English instead of in status
of
dogma.
What actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're talking about there is the police and the government generally will use euphemisms to cover up the violence of what's actually happening.
Come see the violence inherent in the system.
Right. I mean, if you don't pull over for the cop, even though that cop is pulling you over to give you a pizza coupon, what's that cop going to do? That cop's not used to people not pulling over for them. Normally, the way they handle that is to throw down spike strips or run you off the road or, take some sort of ultra aggressive, increasingly aggressive action.
Right.
In order to get you to do what they want you to do.
Right. So in this case, we were talking a couple segments ago about the situation down in Crestview, Florida, where the police have a program called Food from the Fuzz. It's alliteration, Ian.
That's right.
Alliteration. Where they said that, well, the program, which has not actually been implemented, generated excitement and online discussion, blah-de-da. They were going to pull people over, give them certificates.
What if I had somewhere to be, and I don't really need your pizza that bad?
You think that you should be able to run anybody over that's in your way when you're in a hurry, so just run over Chief Tony
Taylor? That's not what I
Taylor?
said, and also what you should be able to do has nothing to do with what is going to happen if you don't.
So... Chief Tony Taylor says programs like ours have been done by police departments all over the country without issue, and also in other countries.
Not without issue.
Yeah,
There's always been issue.
Right.
The program was developed purely to reward good driving. These courteous, civic-minded citizens make a significant positive contribution to the safety of our community. Chief Taylor noted that some social media posts, overwhelmingly from out-of-towners, perverted the program's intent.
Because the people from in town are scared to death. Like, they don't want to speak up. Nobody wants to speak up against the police department because then they're going to be targeted, and people know that stuff. So it's safe for an out-of-towner to do it.
The out-of-towners perverted the program's intent to appear as if the police department were finding means to conduct vehicle searches for everything from illicit narcotics to smuggled aliens.
Yeah, and to me, this seems... I wonder if this stuff has ever been challenged. I mean, Melanie, you are trained as an attorney. You went to school. You went to law school. You're not a licensed attorney at the moment, but you did go to law school for it. And is it legal to do this? Like, could there be a challenge?
I don't know that it's ever gone up. I don't think it has. It's not legal unless it's already been ruled legal, and that that's a weird sentence, but they don't have PC, and they're
Right.
making it attainment.
PC being probable cause, and
Right,
they don't
yeah.
have anything in statute, and
They don't even have suspicion.
It doesn't
right?
matter
They're
if they
pulling
have.
somebody over.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they have suspicion.
They haven't observed a crime being committed. They haven't observed a traffic law being violated, but they're pulling somebody over. They're detaining somebody. They're taking away their freedom.
So
and they're
let-
saying,
let me
"Oh, here's a
continue.
coupon.
Let-
Here's
let-
a coupon. It makes it all better."
Let me continue here, where the chief, he's got more things to say.
Yeah.
Where he says, there have been those who posted irresponsible comments trying to put a negative spin on a positive initiative. It's easy to jump on social media when there are no consequences for manufacturing conspiracy theories. There's absolutely no plan to violate anyone's rights.
Except for the one you announced.
Our intent was only to reward good driving. There's no hidden agenda.
No.
It's not hidden, so that's actually accurate, but
Chief Taylor and members of his command staff noted many police interactions with local residents can result in negative consequences, such as a traffic citation or an arrest, but opportunities to reward good behavior are infrequent. Chief Taylor continues, while there are plenty of statutes to address wrongdoing, there's no statute that lets us reward citizens for doing good.
that's because that's how laws work.
He's admitting that he doesn't have the authority to do what he was going to do.
Right.
So he says, if a motorist is observed driving well, the pizza will still be forthcoming, but not by being pulled over. Those blue lights in your rearview mirror are reserved for bad drivers.
So they changed.
Fear not. If you're pulled over in Crestview, you will not get a free pizza. It's
Right.
because you're driving poorly and you might get a ticket.
So, but he changed this. He
changed it after those people
blowback.
from out of town perverted our program.
Right.
By saying that we were going to illegally detain and search people.
I find I'm glad that the program got changed.
Yes.
I don't think it's as objectionable if a free pizza coupon shows up in your mailbox and it says, "We saw you driving well the other day. Thank you, citizen. Here's a free pizza from
That's
Jerry's
still kind
Pizza,"
of
or
creepy, but I think
Well,
it
you know
is
they're
preferable
watching.
to the
Yeah.
detainment.
I mean, you know they're out there. You know they're watching, so it's not a
Yeah, but
surprise.
you usually don't get emails from the NSA.
No,
Hey, I
that's true.
saw your Google searches the other day. Is this what
Right.
you were trying to find?
I read that email, and your use of commas and punctuation was spot on.
Yeah.
Let's go to Sarah.
Thanks, NSA.
She's in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Do you support the police pulling people over and giving them free pizza coupons, Sarah?
No, I just called because they're all hyped up in our city to get the high school kids safe from getting shot to death. But they could care less about high school kids getting killed or hurt by cars.
Yeah, but what about
That's
pizza
what's
coupons?
bothering me.
That's what I want to know about.
Well, it's Free Talk Live, right? It's
You're
not
right.
what you guys want to talk about. Why don't you change your show to whatever we want to talk about, like Bitcoin?
Go ahead,
You know?
Sarah.
Do you use Bitcoin, Sarah? Did you ever get a smartphone?
I can ask you questions when you call in, and that's all I did. You're still welcome to call about what you want, so please go right ahead. What's the problem with the high schoolers?
Well, you know what? I mean, well, they want to hype up security. Our city councilors are worried about the threats of they have well, I'm going to shoot up the school. You know, they're going to get all worked up over it, and they want to change laws. But if I was to tell them, I met 6 kids that got hit by a car, broke their hips and stuff like that.
Did
on,
you?
On that, they could care less. They're like, well,
No,
that's
but
not
did that
important.
actually happen?
Did you meet those people?
Of course I did. I stand on that corner right next to a high school, Del Norte.
You met
I live
6
on my
kids
own-
that broke their hips? All of them broke their hips?
No, I don't. They did get hit by cars. Sometimes 2 times. One time they did get hit, and they were in the hospital for 3 days.
All 6 of them?
They did get hurt.
At the same time or at different times? Like, I'm very confused
Right, did somebody
here.
plow into a group of 6 high school students, or were they, over the last few years, one of them or
That they were
all 6?
standing in a triangle and somebody thought, oh, it's high school bowling.
But I met a person that got hit 4 years ago while going to school. But I met 7 different people.
All
that
high
got
school
hit by
students?
cars there.
So is the solution here to ban high schoolers from being pedestrians? Is it to ban cars?
I mean, I think this is the same solution as the other one, just ban schools.
You know what? I want the red light cameras back on that intersection. But they're like, oh, we can't do that, you know?
People actually drive more dangerously when there's red light cameras.
Yeah, and we've presented Sarah with this evidence before.
She doesn't care about evidence.
Yeah.
She's just all about the emotion. But I'm still not clear. Did you meet 6 high school students who were all hit by a car? Or are you saying you've just known 6 people?
While they were high school students? Are they currently high school students?
Well, actually, 2 of them was a former high school student.
Former high school. Well, everybody's a former high school student.
Except for the ones that dropped out
except
before
for people
high
that
school.
drop out in
What
middle
if they're
school.
still a former student?
But not former high school student.
That went to that same school. It was that Del Norte High School, like crossing that intersection.
Now, how did was it one high school student that got hit while they were in high school, or 6 of them?
6 of them while they were going to high school.
Okay, all right. But they're not all in high school right now.
They all went to high school.
I'm just trying to understand this
So
story
am I.
here. I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around this. So are you saying that high school students aren't paying attention, or was there some madman who just drove and barreled onto the sidewalk and hit them?
Okay, how about 6 cars running the red light on the yellow arrow? Okay, how can you cross?
If they're turning on the yellow arrow, they're not running a red light.
It's legal to go on the yellow arrow.
That's actually what the driver's handbook tells you to do.
Look, if you are in high school, Sarah, thank you for the call tonight. If you are in high school and you have not yet learned to look both ways before you cross the street, you get what's coming to you.
I'm more curious why Sarah's hanging out with high school kids.
Well, you know, whatever she's into. I mean.
Ian.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow night. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nesquik. Try Nesquik 4-packs, perfect for lunches and great for kids on the go. Look for it in the juice aisle. Snack time is a great chance to sneak extra calcium into your child's diet without making him feel like he's eating something he doesn't want. Serve up dairy-rich foods like smoothies, flavored milk, frozen yogurt, and string cheese. He'll love the treat, and you'll love knowing how good it is for him. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the liberty media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, February 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.69 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,338 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $36, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,182. Antiwar.com reports after several days of fighting over the exact wording, the UN Security Council has unanimously backed a ceasefire resolution over the weekend calling for an end to fighting in not just eastern Ghouta, a suburb of the Syrian capital of Damascus, but the rest of the country. Over 500 people, mostly civilians, have been killed in the past week in fighting around the Ghouta area, the last substantial rebel-held territory near the capital, as Syrian and Russian forces pounded the territory to try to force evacuation deals. The deal is to stop stop fighting and get humanitarian aid into the area without delay, but timing isn't clear, with the Syrian government saying they don't consider it valid against terrorist groups, but promising to work quickly on getting aid into those areas. Turkey has said they don't believe the ceasefire applies to their invasion, though Syria says it does. Aid shipments are difficult to get into combat areas, though a recent UN Red Crescent shipment around Damascus likely will serve as a model for yet more influxes into the besieged areas, where large numbers of civilians remain trapped in what are basically open fire zones. The disputes already about interruption of the language of the ceasefire suggest it's going to be tough going to really get it implemented in a timely fashion, but everyone seems to be satisfied for now, with all having the impression the deal orders everyone to stop fighting but permits their respective offensives. With the ceasefire only covering a 30-day span, that could easily mean that, like some previous efforts, the ceasefire will be largely over by the time there's any agreement on what it actually says, and mostly serves as an excuse for the nations involved to condemn one another for violating the terms as they understand them.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co.
UPI reports the mayor of Oakland, California warned residents over the weekend of a potential raid conducted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. In a news release, Mayor Libby Schaaf said she had information from credible sources about an immigration sweep in the coming days. Schaaf also said she did not know details of any potential ICE sweeps, including locations. Her statement over the weekend comes less than 2 months after ICE Director Thomas Homan promised a 400% increase in workplace immigration raids. In October, Governor Jerry Brown signed into law legislation that makes California a sanctuary state by prohibiting local law enforcement from asking about somebody's immigration status or handing suspects to immigration officials without a warrant. State lawmakers also passed a bill to make it illegal for employers to give immigration officials information about an employee without a warrant.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports a Florida sheriff came under mounting criticism on Sunday for his deputy's response to this month's deadly high school shooting and potential warning signs as dozens of state lawmakers called for his ouster as the governor ordered an independent inquiry. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel insisted that only one of his armed deputies is so far known to have been at fault for staying outside the school while it was under attack rather than entering to confront the gunman who shot 17 people to death. That deputy, Scott Peterson, identified as the school's assigned resource officer, has resigned rather than face suspension and possible dismissal after his actions were caught on video during the shooting, according to the sheriff. News outlets including CNN and NBC have since reported that at least 3 more armed Broward County Sheriff's deputies were present on the scene, taking cover behind their vehicles instead of immediately going into the school. Sheriff Israel sought to dismiss those reports, but did not rule out, however, that the